All right. Wow, that was a bad all right. That came out a little funny. What's going on, YouTube? What's going on, fellow fans, people, and of course, what is up? The catch. Bam! All right, we got must-start QBs and must-start tight ends tonight. Some general week 7, the worst week in the history of fantasy football. Q&A.
Of all time, maybe.
Yeah, maybe of all time. We got Steve in the house. What's up, Steve?
Nothing much, man. Letting my beard grow. The Catch fam knows how important that is. In fact, I got some whiskers on my face.
You should not shave until you win a game in the Catch Fam League.
Oh my gosh, I could be looking quite Tom Hanks-esque by the end of it.
Dude, I just want to say that my opponent in my 20-man league has 1 player on bye, 4 players on IR, a questionable player, and Michael Thomas, and he's still projected to beat me.
What?
By 5 points. Yeah.
Who does he have? Does he have like Derrick Henry or something?
He's got Kamara and Cup, and for some reason Mac Jones is projected like 25 points or something ridiculous.
That's a little absurd.
Yeah, it is strange.
Maybe they give more points for being a mediocre quarterback.
I didn't know mac and cheese is mediocre right now, man.
Fantasy wise, definitely not.
All right, let's see who's in the house. Chase Brown, what's going on, brother? Always good to see you. Richard Glass, what is up? Our most pristine follower. Richard Glass is in the house. Aaron Reborn, what's going on, brother? TS, do you think Goddard is playing Sunday? Is Felton worth a pickup since I lost Hunt? Thanks. I think Goddard is going to play. Steven, why don't you weigh in since you're a Goddard owner now?
Yeah, last time I checked, I do think he's going to suit up against the Raiders, and I think that's going to be a good matchup too. But with that said, it's going to be tough, right? I mean, we've seen people kind of take a while to come back after, kind of being out with a COVID designation. But with Zach Ertz being out, I think there's going to be a ton of opportunities. I'm checking right now. Goddard wasn't at Wednesday's practice. That's not a good sign. And if he is still not there Thursday, I'd be very sketchy about putting him in your lineups. But right now, I'm just happy to have him on my team. So I think if you have him, he might not be a play this week, just depending on that designation with COVID. But he's going to be good rest of the season, I think.
And I do think Felton's worth the pickup in full PPR. I think he's going to be more deployed as the pass-catching back in the backfield, but definitely worth the pickup. Richard Glass, or actually, timeout. Steven, I got a question to ask you.
Yeah.
We got to talk about something. About your waiver pickups today.
Oh, you like what I did there?
So Tua
did you see what I – okay, well, yeah, Tua. Who we also need to talk about for another reason. I just heard something that came out like maybe an hour ago or something about.
You got Tua news I don't have?
You haven't heard about the potential trade?
What trade?
There's a 3-way trade apparently going on involving Washington, Houston, and Dolphins that is like being talked about right now.
What is this?
Hold on. I got
pulling it up.
I heard. All right,
how dare they do that to Tua?
Deshaun would go to Miami, and it's a 3-team deal that would send Tua to the Washington football team. Like that could literally be all right. So first off, that would just screw me this week, and it would screw whoever went out and picked up Tua because he was a good fantasy pickup for the waiver wire. But if that actually did go through, because they said it could potentially happen by end of week or somewhat soon. It's not, I don't know how verified it is, but
it's false. That's got to be. Everything I'm saying is that it says it's fake.
It is?
Yeah.
It's certainly an exciting topic, man. You don't think it's at least being talked about right now?
I mean, listen, trade rumors leak from somebody.
Yeah.
Like from some real source. I don't know, man.
I mean, I think that deal would kind of work out too. I mean, I think Washington would get kind of screwed out of that because I'm not too sure about how much I believe in Tua long term, but I think the Dolphins get the guy that they've clearly wanted for a while in Deshaun Watson, and the Texans just want a jackpot worth picks, which that's gonna be a serious boatload of picks that they get.
I think Washington will be winning the trade, man. They get two.
Dude, honestly, I mean, it sounds kind of funny, but I actually think the Texans here, with having Davis Mills as maybe a bridge quarterback or just somebody to kind of foster and build on as a game manager, and Tyrod Taylor as well when he comes back from injury with a ton of picks. I like the way they could kind of rebuild this team. Not sure that they have the right culture in place, but I don't know. I mean,
I like their coach. What's his name? I don't know his name, but I like him.
Isn't it David Colley?
Sure. Why not?
Hey, he gets those guys to come out there and fight hard every week.
I was watching some of Inside the NFL. Is that what that show's called? The one with Brandon Marshall?
Yeah.
They did some close-up mic-ups of him, and I think he's a good coach.
Yeah, I mean, he got like outstanding remarks before getting hired. I mean, he's got a pretty pristine record in terms of the coaches he's coached alongside, and everyone just says he's that guy that's going to come in early and leave late, and he just brings like a good spirit to him, I guess. But I'm not too sure what the front office of the Houston Texans have been doing or will continue to do.
Yeah, we shall see. All right, let's go down the list here. Definitely, interesting topic though. So thank you, Mr. Ian Rappaport. All right, Richard Glass, what is your typical reaction when you get an atrocious trade? I try to make an even more ridiculous trade. Pretty fair. Did Steven send you a ridiculous trade?
Honestly, I haven't ever since that draft night trade. Actually, I've sent out a couple trade offers. I just sent one to Philly Mike thinking that maybe he would accidentally click the accept button. I sent Chase Claypool and Allen Robinson for Nick Chubb. So I was hoping that would be an accidental acceptance. But
even if it was accidentally accepted, I just deny it.
But no, I think that's a good way to do it. It's funny too, because it's almost like when you get a bad trade offer, it is almost seen as like insulting. It's like you really think I would fall for this? You know what I mean?
I know what you mean.
So you kind of want to put it right back at him. It's kind of like when I offered you Antonio Gibson for Christian McCaffrey straight up.
You didn't even put it through. I dare you put it through. See what happens. All right. Sorry, I lost my spot, guys. Okay. Wow, lost my spot.
802 timestamp.
Aaron Reborn. So what's your opinion with future Hunt owners, since I know you're one? I just hold on to him and hope for the best. Yeah. I think he'll be back. I think he'll play again this year, and I think he'll be fine. Steven's scared about the calf injury, but I'd hold on to him.
Yeah, I don't think there's no reason to get rid of him, but I'm pretty pessimistic he's going to come back. You don't want to hear that.
Yeah. Spencer, what's good, bro? It's good to have you here tonight, man. We missed you last night. Hope you're doing well, my guy. Steven really missed you. He was texting me all night about it.
I literally texted you right after, or we were on a call right after the live stream when I had asked where you were, and then you threw it in the chat. So good to see you, Spence.
Richard Glass, like, you offered a trade, you have to check twice. It's so ridiculous. Chase Brown, desperately need a wide receiver 2, so I have to drop Cowboys defense. Mooney is my wide receiver 1. Right now I can pick up either Ruggs, Callaway, Hilton, or Bateman. Deciding between Callaway or Bateman. Any thoughts? Or should I look for other options for my wide receiver 2? I don't mind those guys. Honestly, I kind of like Ruggs, though, as well, out of the guys you listed. I mean, listen, none of these guys are going to be consistent wide receivers by any means. They're playing for the upside. I don't mind Bateman either, but we still haven't really seen enough of a sample size, right? Callaway, I think low ceiling, high floor. Excuse me, low floor, high ceiling, other way around. You got any thoughts on those receivers, Steven?
Yeah, I don't know. I've been kind of off of Callaway all season. Before, I mean, the preseason I liked him, but ever since we've kind of seen real game script out of him, just haven't been like too in love with him. But I mean, I would have said T.Y. Hilton for sure if he didn't get injured at the end of that Houston game. I love Bateman for the reason that I think he could be a potential long-term play here. But yeah, man, those are not the best options. I kind of wonder what else you have there on the waiver wire. I mean, I'm sure they're not much better than this, given how deep these guys are. But
right.
I kind of think you were onto something with Ruggs, right? We think Derek Carr could be a potential good play this week against Philadelphia. Philly isn't great against deep threat receivers, so could be a shot here. And Derek Carr is one of the best pass. I think he actually was graded as the best deep passer in all of football so far. So maybe Ruggs and this Raiders team works out. I don't know.
I think Ruggs at least gives you the chance.
Yeah.
Chance at a high ceiling.
The rest of those guys, yeah, I don't know. There's not much of anything.
I don't mind Bateman as well. I think he's worth the same gamble.
Yeah.
I mean, he led the team in targets last week, or maybe right after Andrews.
I believe so. I know he was like saying I think he had like a 24% target share in his like first game back or something absurd. I mean, he looked good. He looked like what we thought he was going to be, which is a critical part of this offense. But not sure I'm willing to take that shot on him this week. But I do think it's a guy you can kind of keep on your team for a while.
Sure, they are who we thought they were. TS Watson rumor was false. Apparently, you're on the goat. They said those trade offers are false. All right, we'll find out.
Yeah, we'll know.
I vote false. Steven votes true.
No, I vote false, but
Steven said
I want something exciting. I want something exciting.
Bo Pucks, what's going on? Hope you're doing well tonight. Trade away Gibson, CH, and AJ Green to acquire Henderson and Cooper.
Yeah,
I say yes.
I like that, man.
Especially if you need the help right now. I mean, I don't think you're losing much of a trade-off between Green and Cooper in terms of consistency. Cooper probably has a higher ceiling on a weekly basis. Then if you need help right now at the RB position, and if you have Gibson and CEH, you probably do. Henderson's a great start.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a good trade. I think it's a fair trade.
Love that trade.
Yeah. Spencer Deshaun Watson, if he goes to Miami, then the NFL will suspend him. No way Watson plays this year. I don't think he'll play this year either. So, yeah, I agree there. Pedro, any suggestions on Uzma? I'm not crazy about starting Uzma this week, man. I just don't feel great about it. He really hasn't done a whole lot since. I mean, don't get me wrong, he had the touchdown last week, but if you wipe away the touchdown versus Detroit, he had 15 receiving yards and then 16 receiving yards in week 5. So he really hasn't done a whole lot in terms of fantasy since week 4 versus Jacksonville this season. So I would say he's 1,000% touchdown dependent. It's not a bad matchup versus Baltimore, and then they get the Jets next week. But if he doesn't score a touchdown, then you're kind of screwed, right?
Yeah.
So I don't hate it, but I don't love it. I know there's a lot of teams out there struggling this week, injuries, bye weeks, right? If you think that's the best option, I would like to know who else is available on the waiver wire.
Yeah, I mean, do you think you'd rather take a guy like Ferkser, who's got Kansas City? He only had 1 target last week and got his 1 catch. But, I mean, Ferkser is a part of this Tennessee offense going up against Kansas City, which is very favorable against them tight ends. You're really taking a shot in the dark that he gets a touchdown. But a lot of these tight ends in that Uzma type of ranking are going to be those shot in the dark kind of plays.
They're all touchdown dependent.
I mean, Tanyan might be available too because he's been so damn disappointing. Might want to roll in the fire with Mo Alley Cox going up against San Francisco, but they're pretty brutal against the tight ends too.
Maybe, I don't know. It's pretty rough at tight end right now. It's
the one tight end I am scared about, and he could pop off, right? So you always get a chance, but it's OJ Howard. That's the guy I'm scared to take a flyer on.
Well, Gronk might play. I was kind of, I mean, Chicago's been pretty good against opposing tight ends, right? And I was thinking about it because my 20-man league, all I've got is Jared Cook, and my opponent has a tight end on bye week, Pat Freiermuth. So I might just not start a tight end, right? But yeah, probably the best option out there is OJ Howard or Cole Kmet for me. So I've been thinking about Howard, but now that Gronk might play, I'm kind of crossing him off my list, to be honest. So yeah, Pedro, I would say Uzma is pretty touchdown dependent. Let us know in the chat what other tight ends are out there available for you, and we can further analyze that for you. Devo, should I trade Antonio Gibson for James Robinson? Oh, yeah. If you're receiving James Robinson, I'd say 100%.
Yeah, get rid of
1000%.
Gibson while you can.
Yeah. Guys, go ahead and make sure you smash that like button so we get as many new viewers to the stream as possible. 29 any new faces out there. Consider subscribing down below and becoming part of the TH fam tonight. And let's keep this thing rolling, man. Matt, what's up, legends? What's going on, Matt? Good to see you as always. Richard Glass, I got offered CEH. He was on IR and Diggs on bye week for Kamara and Woods. So I applied with Jeff Wilson for Cook.
I love that, Wilson.
Yeah.
I love the Jeff Wilson move.
Yeah. Ryan, do you think Deshaun Watson will be traded to the Dolphins? We're just kind of going over that. And Steven does, but I don't.
I just want something to happen. I want another storyline to break in the NFL. I think it'd be fun.
Spencer, I can't believe I'm sending this trade. Knox and Jacoby for Devonta Smith and butt kicker. I have no bench spots. Oh, crap, I lost. And need a kicker this week. Wow. I would take that trade. If I got Dawson Knox,
I kind of can't believe Spence is making that move, man. Moving off of Knox, and I know both of
Jacoby's your boy, Spence.
Yeah, I know. I was just gonna say we both love Jacoby. I'm a little surprised you're doing that, man. And I don't know, man. I mean, we were just talking about it last night, Spencer. I know you weren't on, but Devonta Smith has just been terribly inconsistent. It's been really hard to rely on him, and Jacoby's the complete opposite. But yeah, man, that Dawson Knox move off, that could be scary.
Matt and Tang, trade Robbie Anderson, Hurts, Chenault, and Devontae Booker for Kupp and Russ. As long as you're not hurting...
That quarterback would be my...
Right, yeah. If you've got another quarterback outside of Hurts that you're confident in, then I don't mind that trade as long as you don't need the wide receiver depth as well. Mm-hmm. Sure, you're getting Cooper Kupp. So, I mean, down the stretch, you'll get Russell Wilson back. So as long as you have quarterback that you're confident in, it's not going to hurt you to lose Robbie Anderson or Chenault, which probably won't. I don't think Devontae Booker is really a long-term play. So I don't hate that trade.
Yeah, and I mean, like we were just talking about kind of when would you make a trade like this where you're getting off a guy like Hurts, right? But in a non-fantasy apocalypse week like this one, usually there's some good options week to week that you can stream, right? That'll just get the job done, get the dirty work done. And the fact that you get to add in Cooper Kupp is sick. Like, your offensive lineup outside of quarterback could be really damn dangerous with him.
Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, I think that trade is worth doing. All right. Let's see here. Gosh, we got to catch up. Okay. Spencer, calf injuries are a bitch, almost easier to recover from than a hammy. There's a good chance Hunt is out until after the week 13 bye. I don't disagree, but I'm denying it. Joshua, trade scenario, Lamb and Sanders for Swift, Deontay Johnson, or McLaurin. I would say whoever gets the Swift/Johnson McLaurin side wins.
Right there with you.
Max, start Tua or Winston. I'd lean Tua. But
Yep.
I don't mind Winston as well, but I'd lean tuna fish.
The big tuna.
Yes. Luke, I have Dak on bye week. Should I start Matt Ryan? I think Matt Ryan's a great stream this week. I did drop a week 7 quarterbacks to stream video. I'm happy to answer these questions tonight as well, but if you guys want some further breakdown, that video is out there as well. Spencer Bateman was tied for targets for his first game off an injury. One of the most slept on guys right now will finish as a good wide receiver 3 rest of the season, in my opinion. I agree with you, Spence.
Yeah.
I do. Ryan, start Josh Jacobs versus the Eagles or Mike Davis versus the Dolphins? It's a good question, but I think I'd lean with Josh Jacobs still.
Yeah, I think we both like Jacobs this week.
But Davis and Patterson are good plays this week as well in the flex. Max, is Bateman a solid flex this week? I would tamper expectations, but I don't mind flexing them this week. But we just don't have a large sample size, so we just want to be careful there. Chase, everyone's talking about Bateman. I'm tempted to hop on the hype train just for the week. I mean, it's a bad week. Might as well roll the dice.
If you're going to take a flyer on a guy, maybe do it this week. But I view Bateman, I think you view Bateman as well as more of a long-term play, right? Let's see how this pans out. The one thing about Bateman that isn't like a Marquise Brown or, a Ruggs kind of guy where they're like these 1 or 2 targets and they're going to break it deep, right? And that'll have a big performance. Like Bateman is much more of the dirty work kind of receiver. He's an established receiver that can do it, short, medium, and deep. So
Right.
you're really looking for volume with him and getting that touchdown upside if he does get it.
Yeah. Matt, got offered Odell for J.D. McKissic. Thoughts? Feels weird that it's even a question.
No.
I'd hold on to McKissic, especially with Gibson being banked up.
Yeah, dude. McKissic is probably my biggest regret that I didn't get in my fantasy drafts this season.
Yeah. This guy I talked about a lot in the offseason, preseason.
Yeah, we both loved him this offseason.
Chase, feel like Ruggs is a safer option this week. I think he's a fine option, especially in whatever this week 7 is that we have.
Yeah, seriously, right?
He's not a bad option this week. Yeah, I agree with Chase. Spencer, Odell equal not good, especially with Baker out. Fair enough. I'd rather have JD when Gibson is out. JD is a low-end RB1, high-end RB2 PPR with his involvement in the passing game. I absolutely agree, Spence. Matt, I mean, Baker doesn't throw to him anyway. It's fair enough.
I was actually going to say exactly what Matt's saying here. Who knows if OBJ is going to be better or worse here, because Baker and him clearly have terrible chemistry, and I think I would always take something better than terrible, right? So maybe Case Keenum, who likes to push it down the field in the past, he's going to come out here with kind of like nothing to lose energy and is just going to kind of gut it deep. Sure. Who knows, man? OBJ might be a little bit better off without Baker.
Yeah, and that's what Matt's going to now. At least Keenum would know who's best wide receiver is. So, yeah, something we haven't touched on, but yeah, Case Keenum is the starter for the Browns tomorrow night. Hey, Case Keenum's a good backup, man.
Hey, remember his little Viking stint?
There are worse backups out there. You know I love my boy Case Keenum. Okay?
Oh, I know you love Case Keenum.
Chase, Tua or Ryan, leaning Ryan. I don't mind either start at all. I like both of these plays a lot this week. I think they're both going to have good games and probably pretty similar stat lines, honestly. Let's see here. So I would go with your own gut conviction. If it's Ryan, I think that's perfectly fine.
Mm-hmm.
Spencer, I dropped Odell in the leagues. I had him in. Don't trust him at all in that Browns offense. Yeah.
No.
Justin Young, Raiders D versus Eagles, Giants versus Panthers, Colts versus Niners, Browns versus the Broncos. I think personally I'd lean with the Colts.
Really? Oh, yeah. I mean, I would too. I think your other play here might be, the Giants probably would be my other one here. I'm pretty off the Browns going up against Denver just with everything going on and how kind of beat up this Browns team is. So, yeah, I'd probably go Colts, Giants, Raiders, Browns.
There you have it. Steven is the defensive expert, so I would trust him. If you guys haven't checked out Steven's must-start kicker and must-start defensive videos, make sure you guys go check those out in your free time and go ahead and hit the like buttons on those as well to really help out the channel. So, yeah. All right, let's see here. Ryan, what are your thoughts on Patrick Mahomes' brother dancing on Sean Taylor's memorial number? A couple weeks ago, Microphone, a big YouTuber, put out a video about Patrick Mahomes' little brother. And I meant to send it to you, Steven, and be like, dude, have you seen any of this? Because, dude, this kid is out of control.
Yeah.
This has been going on for a while. And this is kind of like the breaking point, right? Where he did something way over the top. But he's been making these ridiculous TikToks, essentially putting Patrick Mahomes in jeopardy.
I feel bad for Mahomes here, man.
Yeah. Well, I think Mahomes is enabling him a little bit. There was this big thing where he was making TikToks of him pouring water on fans, and Mahomes got questioned about it and after game press conference, and Mahomes I didn't really like his response, to be honest. Yeah. And this, for me personally, this was awful. This was disgraceful to football.
Yeah, I mean, as someone who, we both grew up big fans. I was at the Sean Taylor's funeral for the fans where they could come and check it out. I mean, this is one of my favorite players growing up. It is terrible. And my family was actually really upset when we heard about the news that Pat's brother had done this. But, Patrick, I think has always had a harder time in the kind of public sphere responding to some of these things. I don't know. I've just always felt like he's a little bit less comfortable than other guys. But with that said, too, I mean, he's put in a bad spot, right? He's got to defend his family or defend what is actually probably the right thing here. But yeah, it sucks, dude, because this guy's obviously just name hopping and using Patrick's name to get clout and get fame. It's
I mean,
really
your brother's making how much money a year?
it's pretty embarrassing, to be honest. But yeah, I mean, it's a little ridiculous.
I remember the year Washington, the year Sean Taylor died, they made the playoffs that year.
Mm-hmm.
And they played Seattle,
Mm-hmm.
and they lost, and that was the first time I cried over football.
Yeah, I mean that it brought that team together more than like anything, man.
Yeah. So yeah, I would say that it's extremely distasteful, disrespectful, disgraceful. I don't think Steve and I have any room for any of that.
Not fans. We are not fans.
Nah, not at all. Not at all. Spencer, I could see Keenum hyper focusing Odell, but Odell is still dealing with injury, and there are a lot of guys who prefer over him. Fair analysis. Let's see here. Justin Young, Callaway, Devonta Smith, or Tim Patrick in full PPR at the flex. You know who I'm going to say, man. Well, I like Spencer's next comment here. Tim Patrick if Judy is not playing, Smith if Judy plays. I think I agree with that.
Yeah.
And quite honestly, even if Judy plays, I think he can still take a chance on Tim Patrick. He has played well in the one game, although Judy got injured in that one game. But the one game that they were both out there together. So I think it is safer to start him if Judy does not play. But either way, I still think Smith could have a good week as well. The Raiders have been pretty vulnerable in the secondary. So
yeah, it makes me think about Spencer's trade that he was talking about a few comments above. And, Smith has another good matchup here against the Raiders. The Raiders have been actually on the season pretty good against mobile quarterbacks too. So maybe that stops Jalen Hurts from running it all the time, and maybe he is forced to throw the ball. I think the Raiders would rather have that anyways. Because Smith had a very tasty matchup last week against Tampa Bay and just didn't see the targets or the catches. He needs the volume, right, to make his bones. So, but I think it's another good matchup here with the Raiders. So I would probably take him over Tim Patrick, all said and done, especially if Judy's out.
I love Tim Patrick.
I know you do.
I know he'd be good. I have him in like every league. Just John, I don't know if you remember this trade offer, but I took Hendo plus Hunt plus AB for CMC and Mixon. Traded away CMC without Chuba plus Gibson for AJ Brown, Dalvin Cook. Wow.
That's a multi-pronged trade right there.
That is trading to the maximum, man. Max Devonta lets me down every week. Yeah, he kind of has.
Yeah.
I don't mind. I don't know. I think we need to monitor in that situation if Judy's going to play or not. Because if Judy's not playing, then the obvious choice, Max, is definitely Tim Patrick, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Spencer, I picked up Goddard and have Schultz on the bench. Don't really need Knox anymore. Don't you say that, Spencer.
Yeah, hey, he does have the messed up hand. I feel like at least in our personal league, John, Dawson Knox could go for a pretty penny if you were to trade him. I know the injury kind of hurts his value a little bit.
I don't have
him. No, I'm just saying, like, in terms of like in our personal league, like if someone was floating him, I just tried to make a trade to the guy who owns him in our league and traded him Mark Andrews. Now I was asking for a decent amount in return, but his response was, "I don't need a tight end. I have Dawson Knox." So that's just how owners still feel about it. They're willing to deny a guy like an Andrews who's starting to hit his stride.
Matt, let's see. It's Khalil Herbert's backfield this week, clear or Marquez Callaway for flex. It looks like Williams is going to play. So some people are starting to downgrade Herbert a little bit. I'm rolling the dice, man.
Yeah, that's a lot of dice you're rolling right there against Tampa Bay.
You think? It is. I don't really have a choice. I might take him out last minute. But I might take Johnson out last minute too on the Browns. I don't know what to do.
What's your advice on Johnson? You can't just say something like that last second before Thursday night tomorrow.
It's tough. The Broncos are the fourth best team against opposing running backs. But I don't really have a lot of room to work with. I've got Booker, Herbert, and Booker, Herbert, and Johnson. I'm sorry.
I don't love Johnson either. That's why I didn't put in a bid on him. I don't like this guy as a back kind of long term. I think his value is only for this week. But, man, I just think plugging in a guy like him, especially over Herbert, would definitely be more attractive. But Herbert with limited opportunities against a Tampa Bay team, you're literally saying, I just need you to fall into the end zone. Because outside of that, he could be getting like under 3 points.
Yeah, I'm just hoping my players fall into the end zone this week. Call me Thomas. I have Mike Thomas, and I got an offer for Claypool and Booker or Mike Davis. My RBs are Swift, Zeke, Herbert, and Carter. My wide receivers are Ridley, Antonio Brown, Jerry, Judy, Jacoby Myers, and Tim Patrick. So you'd be trading away Michael Thomas for Claypool, and then Booker or Davis. I think that's a fair trade. But Steve and I don't really have a lot of conviction in Michael Thomas. So I would personally rather have Mike Davis because he has in full PPR. He's been pretty consistent this year, actually. Booker is not going to be a long-term play, right? And he's got some tough matchups. So I would take the trade. Even if you end up with Booker, right? I think Claypool is going to be a more consistent start than Michael Thomas on the year. Is that crazy?
Yeah, I would definitely like to have Claypool and Mike Davis for Mike Thomas, who, like, let's just face it. I mean, we don't have conviction, but I also kind of want to see like proof in the pudding of someone who does have conviction, because we just don't even know what he's going to do this year.
Sure. Yeah, I don't think it's a bad trade to answer your question, though. All right, let's see here. Chase Brown, Damian Harris, or McKissick for RB2 and full PPR. I like Harris. It's a good matchup this week.
I like McKissick a lot, man.
I don't mind McKissick either, though. Yeah,
I'm guns blazing on him, man.
Yeah, I don't mind either of them, Chase. I think you flip a coin, especially here in Week 7, where the times there are changing. I think you're gonna get a good start.
Mm-hmm.
Chase Brown flexing Shepard, so could flex one of them. I would keep Shepard out there too, man.
Yeah.
Spencer says if Gibson is out this week, Chase JD is a must start. I would agree there, man. I think I would agree there. Devil, should I trade Antonio Gibson for James Robinson? Yes. We got to that one earlier.
Absolutely.
Yes. Justin Young, Corey Davis or Ayuk is my wide receiver 2. Oh, full PPR. Listen, man, I don't like Corey Davis this week.
No, I don't.
I am like having to start him like 2 leagues, and he is 1,000% touchdown dependent this week. He had his worst game of the season versus New England this year, and they're facing New England again. Now Jameson Crowder is back. Could that help a little bit? Maybe, but maybe not a whole lot.
Do you still think Corey Davis is the X factor that the Pats are going to eliminate here with Crowder being back? Because we have seen this offense change a little bit since Crowder's come back, where the targets have been redistributed a little bit. Maybe do they try to take out the safe guy in Crowder and allow Corey Davis to just have to work off of what he's been doing, which is those deep shots?
It could happen. I think he's touchdown dependent this week. I don't think he's going to have a lot of volume.
I do think he's a stay away. I definitely think he's a stay away.
Ayuk's got Indianapolis. So
Ayuk.
He's got a good matchup. You could roll the dice there. That's a tough one. That's tough, man. Oh, gosh. I don't think we answered your question. I think Ayuk's the better choice.
I do, too. And here's one thing, too, right? They've been trying to get him involved, right? They had a full bye week.
Yeah.
I am hopeful that in that bye week, they spent time trying to incorporate Ayuk into the game plan. Because that's it. That's what's remaining. And George Kittle's out, obviously. It's either Debo 100% or it's Ayuk and him both get some looks.
Hard to say. Hard to say. It's not looking pretty, Justin. Marky Mark, what's going on, man? Good to have you here as always, Mark. Hope you're doing well tonight, man. Spencer, James Robinson is a great RB2 to have rest of the season. Has great chance to finish as a top 10 back overall. 100% agree. Justin Young, Devonta Smith, AJ Dillon, Bateman, Callaway, Tim Patrick at full PPR in the flex. Wow.
I mean, we talked about Tim Patrick and Smith. I'll tell you, out of this list, though, a guy that also really excites me this week is AJ Dillon.
Yeah.
AJ Dillon, he is a burning on my bench. I think I'm going to put him in my lineups this week because I just think the opportunity is there. We knew he was not going to do great against Chicago. Just wasn't the recipe wasn't there for success. But against Washington, man, which is averaging over 400 yards, this could be a bonanza. This could be good.
I agree. I think he's worth the dice there. That's our new term, worth the dice. All right, Jerry, what's going on, man? It's always good to have you here, Mr. Jerry. Hope you're doing well. Spencer, I'd say in general, stay away from Cleveland wide receivers as much as possible. I don't disagree there. Jerry says he's starting Peoples-Jones.
Yeah, I saw that right after.
Due to volume, it could work out. It's going to be an interesting game tomorrow. It is.
That's a word for it, huh?
Matt, I'm a Texans fan. You know Keenum is my boy. Let's go.
Nice.
Case Keenum started my love for backup quarterbacks. And it was from watching All or Nothing season with at the time, they weren't the LA Rams. Where did they used to be from?
St. Louis.
St. Louis.
Yeah.
Jeff Fisher was the coach. It was
my
Jared Goff's rookie year. Case Keenum was on the team, and they really focused a lot on Case Keenum in that show. And I like Case Keenum. Yeah, he's a baller. Totally wish I was Case Keenum. Okay, Nate, Hopkins or Debo? I think I lean Hoppy.
Yeah, I lean Hoppy skins.
But I love me some Debo.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man. Nate, are you in a situation where you can play both those guys? Because I'd be hard pressed to find another receiver I'd want more than those two.
Hard pressed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Snake eyes.
Matt, he used to bomb that thing to Andre Johnson. Oh, yeah.
Remember that hit he put on Cortland Finnegan, man? Took the helmet off, beat him down to a pulp. Dude, Andre Johnson was a savage back in the day.
Gosh. That's like one of the most real fights in the NFL ever.
That was very real.
Ernest Johnson or Jamal Williams at RB2, asks Max.
Gotta go to Ernest Johnson here, unfortunately.
I think I gotta go Johnson as well.
Yeah.
Should just see better volume overall. This is gonna be a competitive game for the Lions and the Rams. I really think, I think this game.
Whoa, that's a hot take.
Maybe that didn't translate exactly how I wanted to. Okay. I think the Lions are going to be doing their best to try and win this football game throughout the whole game. I think that means we see more DeAndre Swift than Jamal Williams. You should never know. Maybe competitive wasn't the right word there.
I think it's going to be beat down.
Sure. The Lions are going to be trying more than usual. And they try okay.
Yeah.
Chase Brown, thoughts on St. Brown, Lion? He is my top waiver along with Ruggs in my league. I don't mind St. Brown, but it's not a good matchup this week. And full PPR deep leagues, I mean, I've got him in my 20-man league just due to volume. But his ceiling right now is looking like 10 points. So the floor is much lower. So it's a bad matchup. I'd just be very wary. I think Ruggs has a much higher ceiling and a better matchup overall.
Yeah, it really depends on what you need out of this week, right? Do you need a guy who's going to be able to put you over the top against a hard opponent, or do you need somebody who's just going to give you a level playing floor? Because I think that's a clear difference with these guys. I think Browns probably has a safer floor, but Ruggs has by far the higher ceiling.
Absolutely. Kel's 22. How do you feel about Devonta Freeman? I think we need to monitor Latavius Murray's health quite closely.
He looked good. He looked good.
If Murray goes down this week with the ankle injury, then maybe you take a snag on Freeman. I mean, Freeman's the next man up for sure. But I just think if Murray, Freeman, and Bell are out there, I don't know if it's worth the gamble because they're all touchdown dependent. But Freeman played quite well this week. Let's see here. Justin Young, what's Steven's YouTube channel? Max's Fantasy Flock Network.
Oh my gosh, fantasy.
This is our YouTube channel.
Yeah,
we're both the catch.
It's just I release I'll do like 2 solo videos in the beginning of the week. I'll do a defense and the kicker video, must starts of the week. So yeah, definitely go in there. And like John said, hit that like button on that video if you haven't already, but also definitely throw some comments in there too. Because that's one of my favorite things about this channel is just getting to engage with you guys.
Steven loves to engage.
I'm a big engager, guys. That's my middle name. Steven Engage.
Wow. Okay. Chase, if Judy somehow starts, which I don't think he will, since he's still on IR, would you start him? I'd consider it. Yeah, of course. I love Jerry Judy this year. But first game back from injury, we always want to be slightly hesitant on. unless it's like Alvin Kamara or Devontae Adams, right? Which Judy's pretty close. Don't get me wrong. Ryan, I picked up Judy in the league. I have Sutton. Should I try to trade high on Sutton? I'd say yeah. Yeah.
Trade off of him. Yeah, I would.
Chase Brown over guys like Ruggs and Bateman and other guys we talked about. There we go. Okay. Saying Judy over those guys. Yes. Yeah. Absolutely, I would start Judy over Ruggs and Bateman. 193. What's y'all faves team?
John,
Washington football team.
There we go.
Yeah.
There we go.
We're very bad. We lost
Colts,
the Chiefs.
Yeah. And Colts for me. So we're very bad as well.
Yeah. Maybe on what's going on. Is David Montgomery going to be good when he comes back? I think so, of course. I do. But I think Herbert is going to start eating some of those touches. And
so is Williams.
Maybe Williams, yep.
Yeah.
Nate, Panthers and Rams.
Oh, wait. Are the Panthers and Rams available?
I would, if you're choosing between those two teams, they're both good starts this week.
Yeah, I would go Rams, but these are great starts.
Max, Devonta or Bateman at flex? Ooh, it's tough.
Mm-hmm.
It's tough. I think
I'm going Devonta.
I think I'd say Bateman. I'd say Bateman.
All right, give me a 10-second spiel. 10 seconds. Go.
I mean, it's just week 7. We just got to make some tough calls. You just got to roll the dice, man.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't mind Devonta as well, but I don't know if I have reasons this week, guys. I think I'm just I like that guy because week 7 it's bad.
Yeah, I got to give Smith here.
Yeah.
Volume, matchup. Hopefully Hurts throws the football. Hopefully Sirianni can coach a football game correctly, right?
We'll see.
Yeah.
Cool Pierce, start Swift or Patterson. Can you start both? I think Patterson has a much, much better matchup versus Miami.
Mm-hmm.
I think Swift's going to see a lot of volume in this Rams game, but the Rams haven't been the best against opposing running backs. They haven't been the best against opposing running backs who catch the football, which Swift does do. So I don't mind Swift this week, but you might want to temper expectations. I think Patterson has the higher floor of the two. I mean, higher ceiling of the two, excuse me.
Patterson had 20 touches.
Yeah, he's playing Miami. I mean,
jeez.
Spencer, I hate to say this, but Patterson, I think I agree, man.
Yeah, Spencer, that's right on the money.
Slade, I'm kind of F this week if AB doesn't play Corey Davis or Renfro. I mean, I'm kind of F this week too. I think Renfro, if it's full PPR.
Yeah, I like that matchup too.
Yeah. Call me Thomas. Appreciate it. Absolutely, man. That's what we're here for. Any new faces out there, make sure you guys consider subscribing down below, becoming part of the fam tonight. And if not, we just appreciate you guys coming out and cooling for a little bit. Everyone keep smashing that like button so we get as many new viewers to the stream as possible. Justin Young, traded DK plus Kirk plus Dearness Johnson for Miles Sanders and Chase in full PPR. Thoughts? I don't mind that trade. I mean, if you didn't need Kirk, or Christian Kirk, that is. Okay, so I like Jamar Chase, but I love me some DK Metcalf too. But I think in terms of consistency, Chase is the better receiver.
Yeah, a lot of unknowns with DK Metcalf right now. I'll be honest. I mean, there's value with Kirk, and I don't know about Dearness Johnson outside of this week, but I think you're getting Miles Sanders at probably the absolute buy low opportunity. Like the floor is, I mean, he is so low right now. If you're going to get him, you get him. He looks really good when he runs football, right? It's just he's seeing under 10 attempts a game.
Mm-hmm.
But Chase over DK Metcalf, I think rest of the season, we would both say that.
Absolutely agree. Absolutely. So, yeah, I don't think it's a bad trade. Roto221, what's going on? Hope you're doing well tonight. Would you guys do Hollywood Brown and Gaskin for D-Hop? I received D-Hop.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would. I still believe in Hollywood on the season, but I think it's a good, in terms of trading away Gaskin, I think it's good. I like Hopkins more than Brown on the season.
I mean, literally all of tonight, everybody's been talking about Bateman. There's a reason, right? There's a lot of buzz, a lot of excitement. That's going to take away from a smaller passing share anyways. It's going to go to Hollywood. D-Hop, They just throw the ball more, and D-Hop's the better player. I would definitely take D-Hop there.
Evan, Mike Williams for Gibson. Whoever's keeping or receiving Williams, I think, wins right now. Down the stretch, if you're hurting at RB, maybe.
I'd still say Mike Williams.
Yeah, if you have enough receiver depth, maybe. If you're hurting bad enough at RB, maybe. But I would hold on to Williams, man. Let's see here. Marky Mark, thoughts on Mo Alley Cox? We talked about him a little bit earlier tonight. Touchdown dependent still, in my opinion, is the main thing. But I do like Mo Alley Cox, but touchdown dependent, you know. San Francisco is pretty good against posting tight ends. I would just say that if he doesn't score, you're not going to be happy for the week.
Yeah, I mean, I will say Carson Wentz started his career as like the tight end position. Mo Alley Cox and him have been seemingly getting in the kind of a bond. Wentz has been kind of balling out these past couple weeks relatively, so maybe they kind of hold steady. Maybe Wentz keeps going back to the wishing well of Mo Alley Cox because this guy's a beast, dude. He is really good.
He is a good player.
They need to keep feeding him because he's one of our best players.
Yeah. Matt, Andre Johnson's a GOAT. Matt Schaub era. Yeah, let's go. All right, let's see here. Joey, what's going on, man? Hope you're doing well tonight. Just traded Gibson and Cup for CMC and Jefferson. Win or loss? I'd say it's a win.
That's an interesting deal, too.
Yeah. I mean, Cup is your number one receiver in fantasy right now. But when healthy, CMC is maybe number one, number two. Right? And I love Justin Jefferson. So I
like
think
that move.
Yeah, I think it's a good trade. Let's see here. Justin Young, LMAO, Stephen Gage. Slade, do you think Kelsey will finally have a decent week? I do. He needs one. He's due for one, man. So, yeah.
It's going to be a hell of a game, man. A hell of a game. I personally think the Titans gave everything they had against the Bills, and I don't know if they've got another game like that in them, but it's going to be a fun one.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. XX Selects, what's going on, man? Good to see you as always. Best stream this week: Tua, Darnold, Carr, Matt, Ryan, Wentz, Winston, Jones. I want to say, honestly, it's between Tua and Matt Ryan for me. And then I feel pretty good about Sam Darnold as well. Did drop a video, week 7, quarterbacks to stream. All of those guys were in there except for Jones. So
Mac and cheese, baby. He didn't make the list.
No, he did not. But I like all those guys this week, right? I feel the best in terms of game script between Tua and Matt Ryan. I like Darnold, though, as well. He's got a pretty good matchup this week, and it's time he bounces back after these last 2 awful weeks. Let's see here. So we will be starting our segments, must start quarterbacks, must start tight ends at 9 p.m. Just so you guys know, we'll take a break from the chat at 9 p.m. and hop into the segments. All right. Dylan Sheps, what's going on, man? Always good to see you. Hope you're doing well. My lineup: Tannehill, Kamara, Mixon, McLaurin, Flexus, Swift, Koseki. Who did I play as wide receiver 2? Bateman, Callaway, or Robbie Anderson? I would lean Bateman out of all those guys.
Definitely not Robbie.
If you're not feeling confident, then I'd roll the dice on Callaway, but I would leave Anderson out. And personally, I think Bateman has the best volume out of those 3. Other than that, your lineup looks great for the week, man. J Lord, what's going on? I have Dallas Goddard. Do you think he'll play this week? I think we both do think he will play. Yeah.
Hopefully, right? Yeah. Again, didn't participate today, so keep an eye on that.
Yeah. Dylan Sheps, Biocalypse got me. Yeah, got us all. It hasn't got you yet. It's coming. James Zal, trade Melvin for Javonte. I don't mind it, but we kind of talked about this in last night's stream. Is like, every week, I'm like, okay, this is the week for Javonte. He's going to be the RB1, and then it doesn't happen. I don't mind that trade because I just don't know what Melvin Gordon's really providing for you at the moment. It's higher value than Javonte or not, and I'm not quite sure it is.
I would take the deal. I mean, who knows what's going to happen, but I would take the deal because they're both giving you relatively the same value. It's just that Javonte has the future upside, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I would make that deal.
Yeah, I agree. Max, do you think Tony will play this week? I haven't checked on Tony. Let's. Okay.
I don't know, man. He was banged up going into the week, and then he gets injured, ankle again. I don't know. I think
practice today.
Yeah, I think the Giants are going to sit him this week. That was part of the reason too why I was just talking about Sterling Shepard being a good receiver option this week, and the Rams defense having more opportunity to just smash on Daniel Jones and this Giants offense.
So he is expected to miss at least this week and possibly next week as well.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I would stay away this week, Max.
Unfortunately.
James, trade Hopkins for Jefferson. I view those guys in pretty similar light. So,
one thing about Jefferson is he's got less people to compete with right now, which sounds wild because Hopkins should never have to compete with anyone.
That's true. That might be a good way of looking at it. But I think either way, you'll probably end up with a great wide receiver option. James, pick up Mitchell, Corey Davis, Pollard, Jones, Jr., Shepard, Waddle, Kirk, Moore, or Boyd. I would say Pollard or Shepard.
Yeah. Oh man, Shepard's on. Oh man, I do love me some Shep, but Pollard, he's a killer.
Yeah, I'd like those two guys the most. Then I'd say Jones Jr. or Waddle are definitely worth a look as well. Mark opinions on long-term AJ Green, Bateman, or Ayuk. I think Ayuk can still break out on the season, man. I'm still holding out faith. I think Steven is too. He just doesn't want to
AJ Green.
I don't mind AJ Green as well. I think he's probably the most consistent. I think Ayuk's got the biggest chance to break out. And I think Bateman is still the biggest question mark to me. But I still really like him. Does that make sense?
Can we actually confidently – I mean, obviously, I don't think we can. But I don't know if I can confidently say Ayuk's going to finish even second out of this list with what he's doing right now. And it really does seem like John Lynch and this 49ers team is disappointed with him.
That's fair. Maybe we should retract that statement, Mark. Maybe it is Bateman or Green. But I think right now the safest play, Mark, is AJ Green. Max, start Fan or Goddard if he plays. I lean Goddard out of the two. Tougher matchup for Fan. Spencer says Pollard, no reason he should be on any waiver. I don't disagree, Spence. James, will Monte still be the lead back when he comes back, or will Cohen and Herbert share? Excuse me. I think Montgomery is the lead back, and Cohen, if and when he does come back, which actually could be in the next week or two.
There's a lot of...
Yeah. I think him and Herbert could definitely cut into some of the third down backs and the pass catching ability as well. But I still think Montgomery is the lead back.
Gosh, that sucks.
It does, especially for those of us who love Montgomery. Half their leagues. Gillard, someone dropped Michael Thomas. Should I pick up?
If you have an IR spot, I think it's worth the flyer, but I would tamper expectations.
Worth taking the chance, but definitely tamper expectations.
Yeah.
Mark, just curious because I have 4 starters on bye. Yeah, I mean, I don't think those are bad options, Mark. I think AJ Green right now is the safest play, though. Jalen, should I drop Russell Wilson? No IR league.
That's complicated.
It is, but I think you can. And you'll still have a chance to get him.
And let's look at the numbers, man. Those first couple games, we were like, what's going on with Russell, right? That was the narrative around him, is when is he going to get it together? And then he goes and breaks a finger. So, I mean, I think it's worth dropping him.
It depends on who you have at QB1 as well.
Yeah.
If you got good depth at QB, I think it's going to hurt you if you're hurting at other positions, man. Oriole, OYUL, what's going on? Hope you're doing well tonight. Good to have you here. Damon Harris or Darrell Williams?
It's a good question. That's a really good question.
Like both of these guys this week, man. Ooh, and then Williams got really involved in the pass catching work as well.
I think it's going to be Williams here for me, man.
Yeah. Harris still banged up. Coming off his best game of the season. Was in the must start video, right? So I like him, but I like Williams a lot, man. So you can flip a coin there, and I think either side's going to be good, but I do think that Tennessee-Kansas City game will be a little bit more competitive overall, so there might be more points scored there. So that may be where I lean as well. But I don't mind Harris. It's a great question, man. Let us know in the chat. For our boy Oriole, Hope I'm saying that right. Damian Harris or Darrell Williams this week. Jalen, I have Hurts as quarterback. Then I would drop Russ.
Beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a beautiful situation. E111, what's going on, man? Hope you're doing well. Hello, gentlemen. I'm enjoying the show. Glad I found the channel. Glad you found us as well, my guy. Darnold or Tua? I like both those guys this week. Tua's got a better matchup, but the Giants are right behind Atlanta in terms of defenses against opposing quarterbacks. So
yeah.
I think they're both good starts, man. But I think we're both leaning Tua here.
Yeah, I mean,
I did see on the Tua train.
Yeah, I guess. I did see Matty Rule, the Panthers coach. He did come out though after another pretty poor game from Sam Darnold and said that we're going to redefine the offense, become more run centric, right? So maybe we see Chuba Hubbard kind of be the guy that leads this team, and Sam Darnold takes more of a back seat, right? Because I think the Panthers, unfortunately, might have realized that they were giving him a little bit more than he could handle. So I don't know. That's kind of my take there. I will say we're going to talk about Tua in a little bit, and I know you got your video out there as well that you should definitely go check out.
Thanks for that support, Steven.
Hey, baby. You know how it is.
Marky Mark was thinking about not starting a kicker because I could really use wide receiver depth instead of picking up a kicker for a bye. This week, man.
It's worth it to do this.
It's worth the gamble, Mark. Yeah. I mean, it's rough this week, man.
Yeah.
Like I said at the beginning of the stream, I'm considering not starting a tight end in my 20-man league because it looks like my opponent's not starting one either. And I'm like, all right, let's I'll take one if you take one, man, because I can't really afford to drop. I picked up Logan Thomas last week, and I already have Judy on my IR, right? And I really want Logan Thomas moving forward. And if I drop him, he'll be picked up in a heartbeat, right?
Yeah.
And the best options out there are like Cole Kmet or Kyle Rudolph. And I'm like, okay, it's like, what, 5-6 points if I'm lucky? If I'm really lucky, they find the end zone. And I'm talking about like really lucky, right? So I'm like, if this is the week, man, right?
You got to take that stats game and almost just realize that you don't win your leagues off of 1 week, but you can lose good players off of 1 week, right?
I agree.
Actually, I'm guilty of this, man. I don't even think I fully addressed the strategy I did in our personal league. Awesome. I dropped 2 guys that I already regret dropping, Allen Robinson and Brandon Ayuk, just so I could grab the best defenses available.
You mean Michael Gallup, right?
I dropped Michael Gallup as well. So those are 3 guys.
Were you trying to not mention that one to me?
You can just go scram off, all right?
I didn't see that? I've been thinking about my guy, Michael.
I dropped Gallup for Goddard, and I think that's a better move there. But because I can still use IR designation on Goddard just until that ends.
We'll see, man. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, but I mean, so I kind of am now guilty of like I was already probably going to lose because of Apocalypse, but now I'm like, oh shit, like I'm really taking my own medicine here because I just lost 3 guys that I care about off of this deal. So,
James Zhao, start Ayuk or A-Rob. Listen, man, A-Rob's not even in the top 50 in terms of wide receivers. And Ayuk is not either, but A-Rob's played every game this season, right?
I like A-Rob this week.
Ayuk is not. Steven likes A-Rob. Okay. Do you?
Well, you saw in the catch.
I guess they're playing the Bucks.
In the catch fan league, I put him in as
a good matchup.
As a flex. I mean, on the must start video, I talked about Mooney, but very similar argument. It could be one of these guys, probably going to be Mooney out of the 2, but Robinson's got the Bucks. It's a good matchup, and Fields looks to throw it a little bit more than Hurts, it seems. So, I don't know. I think the recipe's there.
Yeah. All right, we're going to get to 1 or 2 more questions, and we're going to hop into the segment for the night, and then we'll come back to the chat right after. All right, James Dow, Tua or Tannehill? I like both of them, man, but I think personally I'd lean Tua. He's averaging more points per game when healthy than Tannehill. Tannehill is like QB 20 right now.
Yeah, he's playing bad.
But I don't mind Tannehill. It's a good matchup, right? I talked about this in the video I put out today. It's a good matchup. I think the game script will be there. I think Tennessee will stay competitive. So I don't mind either of them, but I think Tua, the game scripts will be a lot better between 2 very bad teams. Okay. Oyel You can, dude. I'm so sorry. Pronunciation's not my. I got many strengths in life. I got a couple strengths in life. Pronunciation's not one of them. OYUL. Cortland Sutton or Robert Woods. I would lean Robert Woods here all day long against the Lions. Man, Matt Stafford is going to go out there and he's going to want to throw 7 touchdowns. Do you think there's a chance Matt Stafford ties like the touchdown passing record in this game?
I think Sean McVay is going to try to let him. Yeah. But yeah,
isn't Detroit's bad enough, man?
Dude, right? I think Stafford's going to come back with a little bit of hoo-ha for that Detroit Lions team.
Yeah. Imagine if the Rams signed Calvin Johnson for the week.
Just for the game. Yeah.
That'd be like the coolest thing to ever happen. All right, guys, let's hop right into it, man. Must start tight ends for week 7 of the week, and then we'll go into must start quarterbacks by none other than Steven Scott himself. So, yeah, let's hop right into it. It's a bad week, guys. It's rough out there. Do you guys know? Have you guys noticed in your leagues that it's not very pretty this week?
Little dreary.
So let's go ahead and take a look. I mean, obviously Dawson Knox is not playing this week, right? I mean, he probably wouldn't be playing even if the Bills weren't on bye week. But Jared Cook's not playing. For those of you maybe some deeper leagues or maybe some 12-man, 14-man leagues, you might have Jared Cook. He is obviously not playing this week. Dalton Schultz, right? Not going to be out there. Dan Arnold, maybe picked him up over the last week or two, not going to be playing. And maybe you have Ebron and Freiermuth in deeper leagues, not going to be out there. Maybe you have Conklin as well, not going to be out there. So it's not the worst at tight end, but there are a couple guys worth mentioning, right? I do want to bring up that Gronk might come back this week. It's not a good matchup versus Chicago, but I do think if you own Gronkowski, you do put him in your starting lineup this week. All right, must start tight end of the week. Week 7. Mike Koseki, baby, at the Atlanta Falcons.
Love it.
Love my guy, Mike Koseki. Thank you, Mike Koseki, who started the season off horrendous. Depending on scoring format, less than 6 points through the first 2 games, right? And I vouched for Mike G so heavily in the offseason. So many people are like 50 subscribers at the time, put their faith into Mike Koseki, and now he is finally turning that corner, right? At least 13 points depending on scoring format in his last 4 games, right? He kind of had a bad game versus Tampa Bay, but the good news here is, right, week 3 did not score a touchdown. Week 6 did not score a touchdown. Yeah, that's not great news, but he still had at least 13 points in both of those games. He is seeing high volume, guys. And I was scared last week that might drop off with Tua as the starter as opposed to the brisket out there, Jacoby Brissett, right, who really seemed to help Mike Koseki turn the corner. But nonetheless, man, that volume has still been there, okay? He's had at least 6 targets in the last 4 games, highest of those being 12 targets, and coming off of a 9-target performance game, over 100 receiving yards, not a touchdown last week, but he didn't need it, man. And this is not the best matchup. Atlanta Falcons are the 14th best team against opposing tight ends, but just due to the volume alone that we've seen over the past couple of weeks, I'm starting him. And also due to the fact that I think this game script is going to be very good for both of these offenses. I think we're going to see a lot of points put up because both these defenses have not been very good. So that's my must start of the week. It might have a little bit to do with that he's my primary starter and to my primary league, but I really do like Mike Koseki this week. I think he puts up a nice stat line.
Yeah, I think this is not only a good option, but it's also very safe, right? I think even if he doesn't turn up for whatever reason, you're not going to be disappointed. Like, this is not going to kill you. And at tight end, that's really important. But Gesicki is a primary option in this offense, man. I definitely think you can roll him out.
And he's a top 10 tight end right now.
Yeah, he's good. He's got every intangible skill set you would want out of a tight end. He's like a wide receiver at tight end. I mean, he's not super fast, but gosh, the guy's athletic too. And coming out of college, man, this guy, it was like his traits were off the board.
Yeah, absolutely. You know who else is an athletic tight end with all the tangibles? He's playing in the same game. It's Kyle Pitts.
Oh, yeah, baby.
Kyle Pitts got Miami coming off his best career game. Listen, man, we kind of talked about this 2 weeks ago, right? I had Kyle Pitts in the must-start segment, right, versus the Jets. Outside of week 3, where he had 3 targets, he has had at least 6 targets in every game. Obviously, his best game came in week 5 against the Jets, right? But I love this matchup as well versus Miami. Once again, they're actually kind of middle of the pack against opposing tight ends. It sounds like a better matchup than it is. But once again, just due to volume, due to the game script, due to him coming off his best game of the season, due to maybe the fact that the Falcons are realizing we should really, really get this guy involved. Although targets are always there, he needs to be a bigger part of this game plan moving forward, and I think he will. And I just love the matchup, love the game script. I think you got to start Kyle Pitts if you own him.
Yeah, I mean, we even got some questions about guys like Russell Gage, if they're worth it, right? And the reason they're not worth it is because in my mind, in terms of receiver, it's like Calvin Ridley, Kyle Pitts. I think Kyle Pitts, obviously he took a serious amount of target share, was absolutely dominant against the Jets, but I'm not seeing a huge step back, right? Just because Ridley's back in the offense. I think he's going to continue to be a badass. And if you saw the post-game interview of Matt Ryan talking about Kyle Pitts and their win against the Jets, he was glowing, man. He was just glowing. He was like, this guy is something special, right?
Yeah.
It's hard not to see that when you look at this guy Pitts play. But,
right.
Yeah, man, I think he's going to blow up. And I would say, like, the floor is above 10 points. Like, I think
agree.
he could finish as the top tight end.
I agree. Yeah, love that matchup. I think we're going to be talking about that matchup a lot, right? I mean, Miami and Atlanta, I think there's going to be a lot of points scored. So love both those guys, Kyle Pitts and Mike G, this week. All right, last week I told you guys to start Hunter Henry of the New England Patriots. He only had 2 targets last week, which is crazy. But he got in the end zone, and he still had a 10-point stat line in full PPR. So he now has a touchdown in the last 3 games, and he's going up against the Jets, another bad secondary. And the following week, he's got the Chargers, who are the worst team in the league against opposing tight ends. So, yes, keep Hunter Henry in your starting lineup this week. I don't care about the 2 targets. Over the last 4 weeks, he's had at least 5 targets in every other game. Listen, man, divisional game. The Pats need to win. Pats are not looking very good overall in the season, right? They beat the Jets in pretty high fashion in week 2. I like the game script. I like Hunter Henry this week. He did well for us over the last 3 weeks. Keep him in your lineup. I think he's a great start this week.
Yeah, I would absolutely stay with Hunter. Like, stay in the fire on Hunter Henry, man. He's playing really well. Like you said, kind of ignore those 2 targets. I think last week was like way more of an exciting game script than a lot of people thought with this Dallas Patriots game. A lot of weird things were happening. Harris balled out. Stevenson balled out. But I think this is a rough and tough division game between the Patriots and the Jets where, Bill Belichick has to utilize his best weapons to win because this is an absolute must win. Like, they cannot lose this game. He is going to be using his best weapons to win it. And Hunter Henry is one of them.
Absolutely.
Gave him the bag in the offseason too. So finally he's showing up.
Right. Okay. I just want to make sure that I've got this pulled up because not everything is updated. And yes, this is updated. Okay. Yes, I just want to make sure it's going off the right numbers and everything. Zach Ertz, I'm flipping my position here.
Ooh.
I do think Zach Ertz is a tight end due to everything going on this week with injuries and bye weeks, et cetera, et cetera. I do think Zach Ertz is a tight end that you can start this week with pretty high confidence, right? The matchup, okay? Houston Texans are depending on scoring format, either the 31st or the 30th worst team in the National Football League against opposing tight ends. We can't really read in to the stats and the targets too much because it's his first week with the Arizona Cardinals. But just due to the matchup alone, due to the amount of points that the Cardinals could potentially put up on Sunday, I think you start Zach Ertz, man. He's a tight end 1, okay? He's a proven tight end, all right? I mean, just 3 years ago, this was a guy you were drafting right after Travis Kelce, right?
Mm-hmm.
Up there with
Crazy.
George Kittle and Travis Kelce, okay? I still think some of that talent is there. We've seen it with his time through 6 weeks with the Eagles this year. I think you start Zach Ertz this week. Just looking at how bad Houston's been against opposing tight ends, looking at how good the Cardinals have been offensively, I think he's a great start this week.
Yeah. And hey, man, another thing to kind of back up this statement here, because first off, I'm pumped about that trade. I love it for Zach Ertz. I think he would have wanted to finish his career in Philadelphia. He really loved the city of Philly. But with that said, let's just take a look at Max Williams, who he is replacing. his target share over the past few weeks before he got hurt against the Niners, right? 5 against the Rams, 3 against Jacksonville, and 7 against Minnesota. So this Arizona team, which obviously has a lot of mouths to feed, actually surprisingly really focused on the tight end position, right? And if we have identified as the Texans as being one of the worst defenses in football against the tight end position, I think this is a smash play. Obviously, I get it. Maybe you want to stay away, see how he evolves in this offense. But, man, it's just when you take a step back, like you said, in this fantasy apocalypse, some matchups are just too juicy to avoid.
We don't want to avoid them juicy matchups.
Man. No, man. Juicier than a watermelon, man.
That's right. All right. So the team that Zach Ertz left is the Philadelphia Eagles, who Dallas Goddard is still hanging around on. So I do want to put this out there. If Goddard does play here in Week 7 versus Las Vegas, they are the 27th worst team in the National Football League against opposing tight ends. I love this start, man. I think if he's out there, he's going to be fine. It's a little worrisome, right? He might still be experiencing symptoms, and that's why he has not been cleared. He's got to get 2 negative COVID tests 24 hours apart before he can be cleared. So there's still time, right? And we just need to monitor this closely. But nonetheless, if he's out there when he was playing on a regular basis, he was a top 10 tight end. We now know that the Eagles are going to rely on Dallas Goddard with Zach Ertz out of the building, right? So, yeah, I love this matchup, and I do think that if we know he's playing for sure, you should have Goddard in your starting lineup.
Yeah, I wish you could just analyze this on a purely football basis, right? But obviously other things are going on here, and so much that we really can't, commentate on because we wouldn't be able to give you a clear answer yet. I will say, like, the biggest concern for me is that he doesn't practice Thursday. That's a big no for me. And Friday, if he's not practicing Friday, I just don't even think he travels and suits up and everything. But if he does play right, if he is having symptoms, again, we have seen people struggle coming back from it. But, when you look at Noah Fant, who played the Raiders last week, he had 20 points, right? This defense sucks against tight ends. And I think Jalen Hurts, locked and loaded, this tight end position has been one of his favorite targets to go after. And the Eagles historically have always kind of utilized the tight end regardless of who's at coach. So I do think it's a smash play if he practices, and I would love it if he would practice tomorrow personally, because if he does, I would even consider flexing him. That's how juicy this is.
It's juicy.
Back-to-back juiciness.
Back-to-back juiciness. All right, listen to this for juicy stats, okay? Ricky Seals-Jones over the last 2 weeks has 15 targets and 4 red zone targets in the last 2 weeks, okay? Green Bay isn't awful against opposing tight ends. They're a 19th team in the National Football League, but it's still not great, okay? I think due to the volume alone and due to the red zone targets alone, that Ricky Seals-Jones is a good start this week. Not a must start, not a fantastic start, but a good start. And I would, with everything going on, I think a good start is a really good thing right now. So not a lot to read into there. I just think we're looking at volume alone. And I do think that Seals-Jones has a good week this week.
I love Seals-Jones, man. And he's not even just a tight end for this offense. He's like also one of their primary receivers. They manufacture targets to him. That was apparent. It was funny, even being in the stands and watching him in person, fans knew who this guy was, right? It's just kind of comical because outside of a fantasy world, you wouldn't really expect that. But Ricky Seals-Jones, he's the real deal, man. This guy's talented. That's why I thought that he was going to eat into Logan Thomas's work share when he comes back. I mean, he's a good part of this offense. So I definitely think you can plug him in. I saw Charlie went ahead and commented a little bit earlier. He said Ricky Seals or Uzomah. Man, I think both of us would absolutely hammer down. It's got to be Seals-Jones here.
I agree. And that's all I really got for tonight for this segment. I will throw one name out there. If you guys are absolutely struggling in deeper leagues, Biocalypse is hitting you, injuries are hitting you, whatever it may be, both are hitting you. Maybe you have Dawson Knox, right? Everyone say a prayer for our guy, Dawson Knox. Cole Kmet is facing the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They're the 24th worst team in the National Football League versus opposing tight ends. Roll the dice there. Mo Alley Cox is an okay start as well. If you are really, really hurting, those are the two guys I would be willing to roll the dice on. All right, that does it for the must start tight ends here in week 7. Steven, I will hand the floor over to you for the must start QBs of the week.
Yeah, I'll go over these and then we'll get right back to those comments in the chat, guys. So thanks for keeping those pumping. But yeah, my number one must start quarterback on the week, John, you might like this one. Lamar Jackson, Action
Yeah.
Jackson with Cincinnati. Y'all remember it's in our intro video. That spin move he does on Cincinnati, it's trademark, baby. This is the return, man. I'm excited for this game. Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson. This is the fight for the division. It's going to be a really big game.
It is.
Probably one of the more exciting games on the week as well. So I think Lamar is going to bring his A game. He had a down week last week, under 20 points, but the week before that, obviously, he balled out and had 40. I think Lamar here is going to have an exceptional matchup against the Cincinnati team. And the Bengals defense isn't bad. I mean, they're number 5 against quarterbacks, right? So, but Lamar, we have kind of noticed, is pretty matchup proof, right? So I'm not too worried about that. I think Lamar is going to be used in every capacity, just like he always is. I mean, it's kind of hard to analyze him because you're really just looking at a guy who is the entire team, right? But so much of me is just saying that Lamar Jackson is just going to cook this week against Cincinnati. He's going to wake up for this game, which is probably their biggest game of the season in my mind.
I agree. It is a tough matchup. And he only had 11 points versus the Chargers last week, who are about the same area. But he could have had like 6 touchdowns last week.
All those running backs, those scrub running backs got the touchdowns. They were selling out for Lamar and those read options, and guys like Le'Veon Bell, Devonta Freeman were getting touchdowns. Latavius Murray scored. I don't see that carrying over. Like, I see this being Lamar's show. And yeah, I mean, the matchup's tough, but man, I don't know. Can you see this going against him? And also with that too, like Joe Burrow is going to be fighting to the last second. So this is going to be a competitive one.
I'm all for this.
Yeah.
But I also own Lamar. So I love the start, man. Let's do it. Let's go, Lamar.
Hey, I'm loving it. I hope he does ball out too. My next guy, I have more confidence in. But, you know, gosh, I used him last week. I struggled to kind of throw him in there again. But Matt Stafford against Detroit.
Oh, yeah.
Rivalry game amongst all rivalry game. Or revenge game amongst all revenge games. You got Jared Goff, Matt Stafford going to play in their old teams. Problem is that Jared Goff's in Detroit with a worse team by far. So I think Matt Stafford is just going to pick apart this Lions team. It's funny because, you know, you were just saying, does he break the record for most touchdowns? Now, I think Sean McVay is going to enable that. I think he's going to let him kind of just sling it loose because, you know, I think Matt Stafford handled it very gracefully the way he left Detroit. He was very classy about the whole act. He wanted to finish his career there if he could have, you know, but with that said too, I mean, Detroit kind of decided to move on from him. Like they were like, you know what, we need to kind of move on, let you do your thing, but we need to reset. Matt Stafford, very competitive player. There's no way he's not looking at that like kind of a screw you. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Listen, man, every game this year, outside of 3, he's had 37 passing attempts or more. And in the last 3 games, 2 of those games, he had 37 passing attempts or more.
Yeah.
I think it's time that maybe he breaks his season high of 41. So we'll find out.
Yeah, and I mean, we both like Henderson this week as well. But I mean, when you're looking at Stafford, I just don't know how you don't start everybody on this Rams offense. This is one of the and defense, right? This is just one of the best matchups of the week.
Yeah, absolutely.
Up next, we got another tasty matchup here. I think Aaron Rodgers is gonna light up this Washington football team defense. I don't know about you, man. I know you were saying that maybe they might be able to get back in here, but man, I think Aaron Rodgers is just going to cook this defense, man. It's looking good.
They're the worst team in the league right now against opposing quarterbacks.
32. Yeah. That's nuts. What happened to them? Yeah.
This might be A-Rod's best game of the season. It's the worst secondary he's faced all year.
I literally think the only way this guy doesn't absolutely have an amazing game, like a top 5 game, is if they just feed it to Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon, which is a concern, right? They could definitely do that in the red zone, but he had 23 points last week against Chicago, 19 and 24 the trailing weeks before that. I think Aaron Rodgers is really hitting his stride. It's tough because he hasn't had any of those like 30-point performances yet, but man, I just don't know how Devonta Adams doesn't just tear this defense up. Like him and Adams just might be shredding it all day long.
I love it. Yeah, I think he's an absolute must start. He might be the must start of the week.
Yeah, I mean, realistically, I think he has the tastiest matchup, but more than that too, I just think Aaron Rodgers is out here on a mission to prove right now.
Yeah.
And I think Adams, he might have a game similar to the one he had the other week where he had like close to 200 yards receiving or whatever.
Yeah.
This is where we start getting into the lower bracket, but I think are guys that you can definitely play. And these are guys that you guys have commented on talking about, who you should be playing or not in comparison off the waivers. But my first guy up here, Derek Carr, going up against Philadelphia. 12th defense against fantasy quarterbacks, so not like the best matchup, but I just like Derek Carr to kind of follow forward with what he did last week against Denver. Man, came in there, had 21 points, right? And this Denver Broncos defense we thought was the real deal. Maybe not as real as we would have thought, but man, I think Derek Carr has really overtaken the leadership role of this team and has been kind of carrying them on their back. I see Derek Carr coming out here and just balling out, him and Josh Jacobs both going up against this Eagles team. And I think the defenses might be a little MIA in this game too. I think the Eagles are also going to have a chance to score up and down the field on this Raiders team. So this could be a fun one for sure.
It's interesting because Aaron Rodgers QB 12 on the year right now, and Derek Carr's number 13.
Right behind him. Right behind him.
You got conviction in Aaron Rodgers. You may as well have conviction in our guy Derek Carr as well, right?
I mean, it's tough, right? Because the first 3 weeks of the season, 24, 24, 21, right? And then he had 2 kind of rough weeks, right? I think a lot of shit was going on with the organization, obviously, but then bounces back and has 21. Like, this is a guy who's throwing for a shit ton of passing yards per game. Oh, yeah. He's throwing for like 300 yards a game. So I definitely like this option here, and I think you can start him with confidence.
I agree.
And then these are definitely the guys you guys have been talking about, so I'm glad we're bringing them up. And John, I know you dropped your must-start video, so definitely go and check that as well, or the must-start quarterbacks for this waiver week. But I also want to get your analysis on some of these guys here because we're going to start off with who I think would be your best pick here on the waivers, Matt Ryan. I think we both like him a lot here. Going against Miami, the matchup's obviously there. But this team also really likes to focus on utilizing Matt Ryan. They like to pass the ball a decent amount. Arthur Smith is really kind of coming together too. I think they're kind of hitting their stride. And I mean, we think Calvin Ridley's going to have a big game. He was my must-start receiver of the week. And you had Kyle Pitts in there as your must-start tight end. Shit, we had Cordero Patterson in there too. We love this matchup, right? And I think there's a lot of reasons to back that. I mean, Miami's 23rd against quarterbacks. When you look at Matt Ryan on the season, he had 21 against the Jets and then 29 the week before against Washington, right? So this is a guy who can do it. Even when he was playing against Tampa Bay, throw for 300 yards, right? This guy can still chuck it deep. It's just that Arthur Smith has continued to unlock him kind of gradually over the season.
I love this start. I talked a lot about this in the Week 7 quarterbacks to stream video, and yeah, I think the game script is there too. I think everything you touched on is absolutely on spot, but I also think that it's just going to be a game where both offenses are going to be in the game due to both these defenses playing so poorly right now. Yeah, I love Matt Ryan this week, man, and if he's available right now, and you need a quarterback this week, you need to go pick him up right away.
Yeah,
because he's not going to last very long.
I grabbed him in the Catch Fam League, and I grabbed this next guy that I'm going to talk about here shortly in the personal league, right? Next guy is Tua, right? I think these guys kind of go neck and neck. I think the reason I gave the lean to Matt Ryan is because for some reason I feel more consistency with Matt Ryan. Tua, when I'm watching that game against Jacksonville, he still makes some really boneheaded mistakes, and I'm just like, what are you doing? Like, you're still struggling. Like, you're struggling to process it, but this offense enables his fantasy performance to rise despite bad play in my mind. They throw it a shit ton. We were talking about that last night. So if he makes a mistake here or there, he's got another 10 to 15 attempts to kind of make up for it, right? So the yards are always there. The attempts are always there. He had 330 yards passing last week with 2 touchdowns. He had 21 points, right? And we can see these kind of performances with Tua when he does play and he's healthy. And I think the matchup is definitely there against Atlanta, being 28th on the season so far. So I love this play here. I think we really like Jalen Waddle as well going up against Atlanta as well. So, yeah, I like Tua here. There's trade rumors going around. They might be fake, might be real, but I do think Tua's got some shit to play for too because he cannot afford losses on a personal level because this Miami team is evaluating him. They are already looking at next year's scouting report to see if they can find his replacement, if it isn't a guy like Deshaun Watson. So I think Tua is competitive enough, and he's going to try to bring his A game, especially against a favorable matchup here.
The interesting thing between these two guys is that the better matchup is for Tua, right? The Miami's been better than Atlanta has been in the secondary, but Miami's secondary is a little bit banged up right now, so maybe those numbers are not entirely accurate at the moment. I like both of these guys, Matt Ryan and Tua. I'm glad that you brought both of them up. Tua threw the ball 47 times last week, and he had
it's absurd.
He had 3 rushing attempts too. So I love Tua this week. I still believe in Tua. I don't know to what degree, but I do like Tua this week as well. Absolutely agree.
I think he has a perfect model of success to get you through the fantasy apocalypse.
Absolutely.
Rest of the season, I don't know about that.
Yeah.
But this week in particular, I think he's a great start with so many people on bye weeks. And these next 2 guys, man, this is getting gritty, right? I want to do a little bit of analysis. I want to get your thoughts on these guys right here because you had mentioned Sam Darnold. I know you're a fan of him. This is not the guy I bring up here. I bring up Ryan Tannell and Carson Wentz, right?
Okay.
Carson Wentz was on my must-start list as a potential flyer last week. Only had 17 points against Houston. That turned into a very run-heavy game script. Houston was well behind the entire game. Carson did not need to throw it. But the weeks before that, he had 22 and 17 too as well, right? So he has had good games on the season when healthy. He's actually been very close to 20 every single game. He's definitely a guy that I think can get you through this week, especially against San Francisco, 24th on the league against quarterbacks. But the bigger thing about Carson Wentz too is it looks like he is starting to get healthier. And man, he can really throw the football when he's fully protected. It sounds crazy to say. I get it. He gets more hate than maybe any quarterback in all football. But I like this matchup. And I like the fact that as opposed to Houston, we're going to probably see Jimmy G and the San Francisco team compete all the way through.
Yeah, if you exclude the game where he got injured, he's had at least 220 passing yards and 2 touchdowns in every game except for week 2, which is against the Rams, right? So he's still an extremely viable streaming option. And I mean, he got injured in week 3, right? But outside of week 3 in Tennessee, this is the best or the worst defense, that he's faced all season long, at least in terms of against opposing quarterbacks, right? So I like Wentz this week. I talked
only
about
one pick on the season.
There you go.
One pick on the season. I mean, he's been playing a lot more efficient than people are thinking. And maybe I am a little bit of a Colts homer, but I just think this is a play that you can consider. He's 16th on the season as well in terms of quarterback rankings. And that is with a 7-point game where he got hurt too. So definitely consider him. And this other AFC South quarterback, I think you can also potentially put in your lineups. Ryan Tannehill has one of the best matchups in football this week going up against Kansas City. I know a lot of people were grabbing him last week and the week before just for this tasty matchup. A.J. Brown makes my must-start wide receiver list. Definitely think he is going to have the chance to ball out. But when you look at these performances he has put up this year, it's not pretty, man. Like, he really hasn't done it. There's no proof in the pudding. There has been other games where he has had to throw it deep, right? And I think the clearest sign to me is like against Buffalo, right? There's a shit ton of points scored. He had 12 points. Like, I don't know if I have full faith that he's going to do it. I would expect them to feed the ball early and often to Derrick Henry against this Chiefs team to get the ball out of Patrick Mahomes' hands, right? In the past, this has always been a recipe to go against Kansas City, to keep the ball away from him, to keep it away from Mahomes. So I don't know, man. I like it. I get the reason for why people are so attracted to Ryan Tannehill this week, but the main reason for me bringing him up is that I think there's actually a lot of concern to go with him as well, just based off of the numbers this entire season.
I think I agree with you as well. I feel good about this based on the fact that he's going up against Kansas City as well, but there's still some hesitancy here, right?
Yeah.
Like I mentioned this in the QB stream video, right? He played very good football last week versus Tennessee on Monday, or excuse me, against Buffalo on Monday Night Football. but from a fantasy perspective, he didn't play good football at all, right?
Yeah.
And the more that the Titans lean on Derrick Henry, which right now they kind of have to, the less value Tannehill has as a quarterback in fantasy. But I will say that A.J. Brown took a lot of good steps in the second half of that football game. He looked very good against one of the best defenses in football right now, and he should look much better versus this Kansas City secondary. Now, I also would mention that Julio Jones got a little bit banged up, and we need to monitor his health. But if Julio and A.J. Brown are out there, I think that sets up a very good week for Tannehill.
Yeah.
Tight that lines for Ryan Tannehill. Expect maybe a little bit higher of a ceiling for Tannehill over Wentz this week.
Oh, it's totally fair, and I get that. I just think when you look at the numbers and the comparison, it is kind of interesting because I think there is so much absolute love for Tannehill this week and very little to, if none, on Carson Wentz. But if you look at the numbers, very different sign.
Yeah.
And that's it, man. That's the must-start quarterbacks on the list. And obviously, take a look at John's video too for the streams of the week at quarterback as well.
Absolutely. All right, let's see here. C-Dog is asking the stream stop for anyone else. Mr. Grapefruit says, yeah. Chase Brown says, yes. Interesting. I've got it pulled up on my phone, and it's still rolling. Let us know in the chat, guys. Give us a thumbs up if the stream is working.
I'm going to pull it up as well.
It's good now.
Awesome.
Okay.
Thank you, C-Dog.
Sorry, guys, if you missed out on anything.
It was just me. Nothing much to miss out on.
Okay, good. I'm glad that it's working now, guys. All right, so there you have it. Must start QBs, must start tight ends for week 7 of your 2021 NFL football season. So let's hop right back into some week 7 fantasy Q&A, guys. All right, let us know what you guys got. Let us know what y'all need. I'm happy to get into this, man.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I can scroll up a little bit here. I wonder what made the stream do that. That's strange. All right. Let's start. Ray Gamer. Would you try to attempt to trade Keenan Allen, C.H. Higgins, and Mike Koseki for Kelsey and Chase? So Allen, C.H. Higgins, and Koseki. If you can afford to lose those players, and sure.
Mm-hmm.
Lit Fantasy, Eli Mitchell or J.D. McKissick. I think if Gibson doesn't play, you roll with McKissick here.
Yeah.
All day long. Ray Gamer, if he rejects it, would you replace CH with Monty? I think you can. I think you could. Orlando, start one, Waddle, Cooks, or Darrell Williams. I think I'd lean Waddle.
Yeah, I like Waddle this week.
Yeah. Bimbo, do you guys like Bateman as a starter this week? I don't mind him.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe as a
at
flex.
most. Yeah, flex at most.
We just want to see a larger sample size. I think we both believe in him, but we just want to be careful. C-Dog is an Eagles fan. He wanted Wentz to stay. Watching him ball out hurts me.
Yeah.
Rodo says, LMAO hurts me. C-Dog, stop, please. I hate Jalen Hurts so much, but he had a noodle arm. C-Dog, don't matter when the Eagles will draft Kenny Pickett next year. Kenny Pickett's most underrated QB in college. We'll see.
They're definitely drafting a quarterback. I can tell you that right now.
Yeah. Jerry, how are you guys doing tonight? I'm good, man. I think we're both a little tired, but we're both good. I hope you're doing well, Jerry. Hope you're doing well. Guys, most important question of the night. We didn't even throw it out there yet. What'd you guys have for dinner? Let us know what you guys had for dinner. Like I said, guys, we kind of lost some of the chat. We're back in fantasy Q&A. So any questions you guys have, please throw them our way, and we will keep grinding through. Thoughts on my 10-team lineup this week from Mr. Grapefruit: Hurts, Patterson, Dernurst, McKissick. Yeah.
I love the way you pronounce it. Dernurst.
How is it again?
Dernurst.
I'm
probably pronouncing it wrong too.
That's right. McKissick, Antonio Brown, Terry McLaurin, Fant, Panthers D, Carlson, and Standard. I think that lineup's perfectly fine.
Yeah, I think it's solid.
I think it's a great lineup. I'm a little worried about Dernurst.
Yeah, that's a tough one in a 10 team. I would love to see a little bit more of a high upside at running back, but he's got the chance, man. He's going to see the volume, and that's key.
Yeah. Let's see here. Oh, keep losing the chat. Okay. Myers or Hollywood Brown from Sea Dog?
Sea Dog. Good question, man. Totally different guys here.
Ooh. I think I'm still leaning Hollywood Brown here.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Any reason?
The Jets have been surprisingly good against opposing wide receivers.
Yeah.
You know?
Definitely a run game script as well. And we think
kinda
Hunter
talked
Henry's
about
going to have a big game.
the Ravens maybe having a better game than usual, even against a pretty good defense. Big game for Cincinnati.
It's very big.
Yeah. I think I'm still willing to put more faith in Hollywood Brown as opposed to Myers.
And I believe Jesse Bates on the back end of that defense of the Bengals is still banged up as well. So, that the deep shots might be available for Lamar and Brown to hook up. So, yeah, it's tough, right? But I think this is a game where all the stars have to come out and ball out. Andrews, Brown, Lamar, these guys have got to show up because guys like Devonta Freeman. Yeah, guys like Devonta Freeman and Le'Veon Bell, I don't think they're going to cut it. It's going to be a big game.
Yeah. Let's see here. Chase Brown, worried about Fant tomorrow. I'm forced to flex him, so I don't have a choice. I think he can get you enough points to win here in week 7.
Yeah. I mean, 11 targets last week is what I saw.
Yeah.
4 and 10 the weeks before. I think the thing about Fant, I mean, we're both a little worried about the matchup this week, but the thing about Fant, he gets a lot of targets, right? So, especially against the Browns defense, which is probably going to be just pissed off the fact that their offense is so banged up. Yeah, it could be a good matchup.
All right, let's see here. Mecky the Goat, what's going on, man? Good to see you as always. Bench 2, Swift, Mixon, Henderson, Patterson, and Davis. Ooh. I think you bench Davis. He's definitely the odd man out for me.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, this is tough. What do you think, Steve? Any thoughts?
Yeah, man. I mean, I would say if it's a PPR, I would almost say, damn, last week we talked about Mixon, and I didn't think he was going to just absolutely go bananas. So it's tough to say bench him. Part of me really wants to say go bench Swift and Davis here.
I think I agree.
You can't bench Henderson. That's for sure.
No.
And Patterson just has such a juicy matchup, and I think he's going to be used a ton. I like him there too. It's Mixon. I don't think you can bench him either. Despite Ravens, that could be a game where they try to give it to the back, let him do him.
Right. I was kind of thinking the same.
Yeah.
I think I agree. It's tough to bench Swift, but I think you have to out of those guys. And then I think Davis is definitely the odd man out. C-Dog, would you trade Thielen for Miles Sanders? I'm in need of running back with Hunt on IR.
That's tough. That's tough, C-Dog.
I don't love it at all.
I don't love that either.
But if you have to do it,
my question is, can you get something more than that, right? Because Thielen's a pretty good receiver. I think he would demand a decent value return in most leagues. And Sanders, man, I mean, while he has the talent, nobody's questioning that. That workflow is not there. And Sirianni looks hell-bent on not giving it to him.
Yeah. If you think there's another, because Thielen's not bad value at the receiver position. So if you think there's someone else out there you can target who's better, I would be interested. Chase Brown, should I try and trade away CEH, and if so, for who? Yeah. I don't know exactly what you could get out of CEH at the moment.
Not much.
But I don't mind trying to trade him. You might have to. You can put him on the trade block in your league. That'd be helpful. But you might have to float it around to a couple owners in your league. Spencer, all right, I'm out of here. Got to watch the Dave Chappelle special. See what everyone is up in arms about. Have a good night, everyone. Spencer, it's always good to have you, brother.
Love you, man. Thanks for jumping in today, man.
Steven loves you. He missed you dearly. Spencer had Wingstop. That sounds tasty.
Oh my.
Yeah.
Oh my. You are
Yeah.
doing it big, Spence. That's all I like to hear. I'm doing wings tomorrow, hopefully.
Appreciate your support, Spencer. We'll talk to you soon, man. All right, let's see here. Lit Fantasy, Robbie Anderson, Jameson Crowder, or Tim Patrick pick 2 in full PPR. I'd say Crowder and Patrick, no question about it for me.
Yep.
TS is Melvin Gordon pickup. I need someone for week 9, and he's really the only option. If he's the only option, it's not a great matchup. Yeah, Steven's playing him, for example. In week 7, I don't mind it.
Yeah.
Sure. Not a bad matchup. Or not a bad pickup. Mr. Grapefruit had Taco Bell for dinner. 3 cheesy bean and rice burritos. That sounds fantastic.
You're making me really hungry right now. John, I know you're a Grubhub fan. You might Grubhub that, but
I'm a DoorDash fan.
Oh, DoorDash fan. Sorry about that. Don't mean to step on your toes there.
I actually had tacos. I made tacos tonight. So.
Oh, really? Delicious. Ground beef or what's up?
Black beans.
Yeah. Just a black bean taco?
Yeah.
Oh. The silence is eerie because I can't run away from a ground beef taco. Let us know, guys, in the chat what your favorite kind of taco is.
I prefer chicken tacos.
Love that grapefruit.
Ray Gamer, I have a lot. I just heard grapefruit in the taco conversation. Yeah, I thought you were talking about grapefruit tacos. I have lots of buys this week. Start 3 wide receiver standard. T. Higgins versus Ravens, Shepard versus Panthers, Kirk versus Texans. Also have Kyler Murray, Tim Patrick versus Browns if Teddy plays. Or I also will start Koseki this week for sure. He's on waivers. Or Callaway versus Seahawks. Higgins versus Ravens. Shepard versus Panthers. And I don't mind Tim Patrick if Judy does not play and Teddy plays.
Yeah.
If not, then I think you can consider Christian Kirk.
Yep.
I also will start Koseki this week for sure. He's on waiver. Someone dropped him. Knox has broken hands, and I will re-add Schultz after his bye. There you go. I think that is a great plan overall. Yeah.
Good job, bro.
Lately, I know I'm starting. Oh, wait. I'm sorry.
Lastly. Oh.
Should I start Saints defense versus Seahawks or Ravens defense versus Bengals?
Saints, baby.
Saints.
Yeah.
Saints are going to have a good game, man. I agree.
Definitely go ahead and take a look at that must-start defense video if you can. I talk about them a little bit more. There's also a couple other options, but let's just say this. In my personal league, I pivoted my opponent to only be able to play the Bengals. This Ravens-Bengals game, I think there's going to be some offense there. So, I mean,
is that why you picked up so many defenses?
Yes, that is. But, I mean, I think the Ravens have a chance, right? But if I've got the choice to go with the Saints, I think this is one of the best plays this week at defense.
Yeah. Interesting. Let's see here. Lastly, I know I'm starting Johnson versus Broncos. There's a good play. Lost the chat. Sorry. Alex Collins versus Saints, or would you pick up and play Carter versus the Jets? Stevenson versus the Jets, Drake versus Eagles, or Ingram versus Arizona?
So Carter would be versus the Pats.
That's right. That's what I was thinking. I don't mind Carter or Stevenson, but I don't really mind Drake or Ingram, honestly. I'm a little worried about Alex Collins this week.
Yeah.
Because he's a little banged up. But I was a little worried about him last week, and he had an amazing game.
But you were worried about him because of the matchup and him taking over. You weren't worried about all these other factors that are now playing here. I mean,
that's true.
You got a tough matchup against the Saints, who I just recommended as a must start.
Yeah.
And now you got the fact that his hip and his glutes are jacked up, and this guy hasn't really played starting role in a long time. At first, I thought that hip and glutes was just a code name for, I'm tired from that game. But it's come out more and more that it's actually a pretty, it's serious enough to them considering to start Rashawn Penny.
Right.
And also you got Homer in there too. So even if Collins suits up, which I'm hopeful for, I think he sees a split committee, not what he was seeing against Pittsburgh, which is like 100% him. So I stay away from that. Carter has a pretty bad matchup against the Pats, but I think the one thing that we're going to see here is that the one thing the Jets screwed up the most, right, was they just kept letting Zach Wilson throw the ball, right? So maybe it's a little bit better of a game script if we start running the ball a little bit more, right? So
sure.
I think Carter and Ramondre Stevenson are plays here for sure that you can put in your lineups this week. I'm scared to play Collins because it's a Monday night game, and you never know. You could get last-second notice that he's out.
It's a lot of tough choices. And it's
Yeah.
interesting because it's like Mark Ingram should see the volume, but does he get in the end zone? I don't know. Arizona's defense has looked pretty stiff overall. So it's a tough call, but I think I agree with Steven on his picks there. Sea-Dog, are the Ravens defense playable this week? I'm nervous Bengals might drop a 50 bombs for some odd reason.
Yeah, I think they're a play. Temper expectations because we know Joe Burrow's he's been cooking so far this year, right? But I actually talked about it in the comments about why I thought the Ravens actually could be a play. And a lot of it really just has to come down to the fact that while the Bengals have been good, they have also still been letting defenses get to the quarterback pretty at will, right? That's why we're also concerned that Joe Burrow's even going to finish the season healthy, just because he still gets hit like all the time. And Joe Burrow, part of his DNA is being that gunslinger who's going to force some passes, do some things that maybe isn't always the wise or most efficient pass play. So definitely opportunities there as well for a kind of a boneheaded throw to turn into an interception. And we saw the Ravens have that game against Justin Herbert and the Chargers, right? So there's a couple different ways you can look at this. You can say, maybe this was just a throwaway game, which I do kind of think of it that way. But I also think of it as like the Ravens have every week gotten more and more momentum with them. Are they really just like kind of like a juggernaut squad that people aren't like really acknowledging? And I definitely think if that's the case, I want a part of this defense going forward. Right?
I don't disagree.
There's definitely a narrative for the Ravens here. I'd like to know who else you have on your waivers because there are some other options I would like more. But definitely, I think you could feel good with them. I don't think they're going to absolutely kill you this week.
I agree. JT Mubin, would you trade Schultz and Mike Davis for Joe Mixon? My RB2 is Devontae Booker, and I already have Koseki and Gronk. Yeah. If you got Koseki and Gronk, then absolutely, man. I think it's a fair trade on both sides. Yes. I think that's a good trade, man. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Steven agrees.
I love Mixon. You know that.
Jerry, I love me some asada tacos. Carne asada.
Oh, those are so good.
Jerry, catch you guys next time. Thanks for always providing me with a good time. Absolutely, Jerry. Appreciate you as always, man. Thank you for the support, and we will see you very, very soon.
Dream about those asada tacos, my man.
Ooh. Let's see here. Ray Gamer. That's exactly where I'm in my lineup right now. Higgins, Shepard, and Kirk. And yeah, I also have Saints defense in right now. All the same. Let's
get it, man.
Good picks, Ray Gamer. Chase Brown, just realized if Chetty doesn't play, does that hurt any value, any player's value, such as Fant in my case? Fant, I don't think so, because he's got good chemistry already with excuse me. Wow, why am I blanking on my favorite quarterback's name in the entire league?
Drew Lock.
Yes. Why could I not think of Drew Lock's name, man? They already have chemistry. I think Noah Fant will be okay.
Gosh, dude. What the hell is going on, guys? Can we just get like some starters to play in fantasy football? Like, what is going on, fantasy football gods? Stop doing this to us, man. This is going to be a brutal week.
It's rough. Someone dropped Hunt today. When do you think he'll come back?
Not for a while.
A couple weeks.
Yeah.
He's worth stashing.
Yeah.
You could be like me and just stash a ton of injured running backs in all your leagues. It could help you out.
Yeah.
Brad Montgomery, what's up, guys? What's going on, Brad? It's good to see you. Hope you're doing fantastic tonight. Steven's excited to see you. So it's a good time. Dylan Sheps, Robbie's targets have been so high, and he's been down on how he's been playing. For some dumb reason, I feel like he's going to go off this week. I hate this feeling. He might. It's usually how it happens, man. Don't take away my Catch Fam certification for saying that. Not at all. Not at all, man. It's very, very difficult to not be certified Catch Fam. All you got to do is hit that sub button, right? Let's see here. Ray Gamer, is Stephon Gilmore coming back?
I don't think he'll be back this week, right?
Isn't it next week?
Yeah, I mean, he's practicing. And apparently it's quote for quote, he'll be back whenever he's ready. So yeah, I think it's really something I would rather have the Panthers ease him in a little bit, but when this guy does come back, this is just going to be a game changer for this defense.
I absolutely agree.
Yeah,
especially next year if he's still around and Horn is still there.
Gosh,
yeah,
And Chin in the back end. I mean, Jeremy Chin
Yeah.
is one of the best safeties in football, in my
Oh, yeah.
opinion. This guy's a badass. Badass.
Okay. Justin Young, Broncos or Panthers D?
Panthers, baby.
Broncos
Panthers.
might get Case Keenum.
I don't care. I really don't care.
Okay.
I don't know. Dude, Kevin Stefanski's a good coach, man.
He is, and I believe in Case Keenum.
Yeah, and I mean, I get it.
Out there.
Arizona shredded Baker Mayfield and this Browns team, but that seemed to me like it was a game where it was like the Browns just had a bunch of shit go south for them really quick, and I felt like the whole game they were like, "What is going on?" Right? And Arizona was just on the attack. The O line's obviously a little banged up in Cleveland too, but tell you what, whenever Case Keenum has come in, he's kind of done that part. But I don't know, man. Denver, we've talked about it over and over again. They've not really done anything since his first couple games. Against poorly coached teams, right? I think Kevin Stefanski is one of the best coaches in all of football.
I agree. I think I like the Panthers more this week, but they're both fine starts, I think. C-Dog, other defense on waivers, Saints, but I have DK, so I don't want to lose points if DK does good. Jets, Falcons, Giants, not much options this week. To take away from Steven's segments, I would just note that DK can still have a good game, and the Saints defense can still have a good game as well.
Yeah.
And I think looking at those options, that the Saints defense is the best play.
Yeah.
So don't be too worried, even if you start DK. He can still score 2 touchdowns, and the Saints defense can still have 2 interceptions and only give up 14 points,
Yeah, I feel like the thing with defense and streaming against the defense, like if you've got guys in your starting positions going up against the defense you're also playing, it's like my biggest concern is if it's your quarterback, right?
Yeah.
If it's your skill guys outside of like maybe Derrick Henry, I think you're probably fine, right?
Yeah. I agree. Absolutely. Matt, Dynasty PPR, Pittman, Tony, Moore, Woods, Chenault, or Mooney. I'm leaning Woods there, man. I think Woods is the best start still. I still believe in Robert Woods.
Yeah, I think we want to, touch everything about this Detroit matchup with the Rams.
Oh, yeah.
But I will say this is Dynasty, right? So
Mooney might be or
Chenault. Yeah, Dynasty. That's pretty cool too. I love Dynasty. We really need to kind of kick that into gear next year somehow. But I don't know. I do like Mooney's matchup this week as well a lot. But yeah, I think I'm gonna go with Bobby Woods this week. Bobby Trees.
I agree. Chase Brown, Fantasy 2021 is something we've never seen before. Yeah.
Hey,
no kidding, man.
You're telling me, man.
Yeah.
I thought last year would be the wild year. And this year is like saying, you ain't seen nothing.
Yeah, this year is a mess, especially at the RB position.
Gosh.
Ray Gamer, I have a waiver in for Koseki right now, or Koseki and Hunt right now. I would be happy to have them and also Schultz back my team. If I can get him back, no way I'm dropping Madison. Good handcuff. Yeah.
Amazing handcuff. Best in the game. Outside AJ Dillon, I think.
Maybe Pollard, right?
Yeah.
But good plans overall. Absolutely. Chase Brown also ate some chicken parm and loved me some ground beef tacos. Let's go.
I love me some chicken parm. I can't not think about Sopranos when I see chicken parm. Whenever I think Italian, I think Sopranos, right? And no, I haven't finished the show.
I was about to say, I don't want to put it out there.
I know you're about to call me out there. I really want to finish it, though. I really do.
Elver G, Johnson, Mitchell, Javonte Williams. Thanks.
Man, I like Elijah Mitchell here.
Really?
It's actually, as much as we both are so disgruntled with this 49ers backfield situation, it's kind of not even close to me when analyzing these running backs. I like the missile here. I like Mitchell to come in here and do it.
I do have Mitchell against me in the league this week, and I actually think he might have a pretty good game too. I think Elijah Mitchell probably is the best play. But one of these weeks, Javonte Williams is going to ball out, man. I just don't know when it's going to be.
Hey, we already had guys talking about Melvin Gordon. Now we're talking about Javonte Williams with Teddy Bridgewater being banged up. I think he'll still play, right? He was a limited participant today. They got an early game on Thursday. So it's like they were probably just trying to keep him healthy for the game. But I think, if anything, that just spells this could be more of a running situation, right?
Yeah.
And one of the best things about this Browns defense is their pass rush, and kind of they have some great corners who can make a lot of plays. So I think the way to beat this Browns team is just to run it down their throats, right? So these running backs, they might have a chance.
I agree. I think really any of those three guys have a chance to get in the end zone this week. Elijah Mitchell's probably the most proven to do so.
Yeah.
Right. So I think I agree with you there, Steve. C-Dog, last one. Is it worth keeping Madison on my bench or should I just drop him? I think it's worth keeping.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But don't cut him over this week, man. Don't cut him over this week. Yeah. I'll say that.
Yeah.
You'll regret it.
Ray Gamer saying that he can't drop Madison because he has Cook. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, if you got both those guys, you might as well hold on to both of them.
You got a locked and loaded RB1 every week.
Exactly. Yeah. Chase Brown sadly had to drop Madison this week because I am in need of players.
Oh, no.
I would hold him if possible at C-Dog. I regret letting him go, but I had to.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get it. It's tough. It's tough this week. It truly is.
This is a week that is making you do things that you never wanted to do. And it's kind of ironic because I was just saying, like, don't lose it over this week. So I'm glad Chase jumped in there and talked about how he had to do it. And he regrets it. He feels the pain of having to let go of such a good guy like that.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a tough week, man. I don't recall I've had tough fantasy weeks before, but there's a lot stacked up against us this week.
Yeah.
Over G, going with Matt Ryan over Tua, Burrow, and Darnold.
Wow.
Thoughts? I don't mind that at all. I think we both really like him this week. So, yeah, I don't mind it at all.
Yeah, I mean, I do. I love Burrow. I really do. But not as much this week, right? I don't think this is one of those weeks where he has a great game. Yeah. And it's just a lot safer to me to go with a guy like Matt Ryan or Tua, and especially like we were saying in the Mustard Quarterback video portion, Matt Ryan. He's definitely a guy you can feel safe about.
It's an extremely safe start.
Yeah.
I don't mind those other guys as well, but it's definitely a safe start overall. C-Dog, is Waller finally going to have a big week? I hope so, man.
Yeah.
He's due for one.
This game seems like Waller might have a good game, man.
Yeah.
I got nothing in me to say that other than the fact that it just seems like it's that kind of matchup.
It feels like that type of week, right?
Yeah, it really does. It really does. And this Raiders team, man, they're going to play hard. They are going to give it everything they got against this Philadelphia Eagles team.
Yeah. Chase Brown, I'm 2-4, so I need to win. Yeah.
That is the exact situation when you would drop a guy like Madison. You got to drop guys that aren't going to do it for you this week. Like, that sucks, too, because being behind the 8-ball in a bipocalypse is like the worst case scenario, right? But you're not alone in that situation, too. So, if you lose this week, I would definitely not beat up any fantasy owner that lost this week.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
I'm literally considering just losing all my matchups and moving on to the next week,
Yeah.
It's tough. Like I said, I feel like I'm repeating myself, but it's just bad this week.
So, John, let me ask you this, just while I have you here, because I think it's also useful, right? Did you put a bin on any of the guys I dropped? Michael Gallup, Robinson.
Why do you want to know that?
I'm curious. I'm just curious.
You dropped Ayuk? I didn't know that.
Yeah, I dropped Ayuk too.
Yeah, I didn't know that till the stream.
You were going to find out.
No, I have not. I can't. I don't have room to put in any waivers right now.
I saw you drop Corey Davis.
Yeah.
Who I know it was like one of your last remaining wide receivers.
Yeah, I had to.
So do you think let's say it was a normal week, would you put a bid in on Robinson, Ayuk, or Gallup?
I would, out of those
this
guys,
week's totally different week because you really can't afford to do that.
Out of those guys, I consider Gallup. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
I like Robinson's matchup this week, but overall, I'm not high on Robinson.
That's why I dropped him. With a lot of these guys, it's like
I've been telling you to drop Robinson.
I know. Well, I've been trying to trade him. I literally exhausted all efforts to trade all three of those guys that I just mentioned.
No trade value there.
Yeah. Yeah, unless you can stoop somebody in your leagues, that's going to be hard to trade those guys. And the way I eventually just viewed this Robinson and Ayuk situation was like, even if they blow up for 20 points this week, I do not trust them to start next week.
Yeah.
Or the week after.
I would be on the lookout for Gallup, though.
Yeah, for sure. I do think he was a very important part of this offense when he was good.
Yeah. But Corey Davis is my worst performing receiver, believe it or not. And I hate the matchup this week. And
They got some good matchups coming up, though, man. But Crowder definitely hurt him.
Yeah. I mean, he'll probably get picked up, but I had to make some tough calls this week. So it is what it is. Boss Man Fat, what's going on? It's good to see you, brother. I hope you're doing well tonight. I have to start JT and Khalil Herbert this week, or I could start Booker at RB and put Ayuk at flex.
Man, I like Booker more than Khalil Herbert. I know it's gonna hurt you, John, but
yeah.
I mean, dude, when we're talking about just everything stacked against him, it's like I know we love him, but it's also Matt Nagy. That's another thing against this guy, right?
It's a bad matchup.
It is. It's really bad.
Yeah.
Really bad.
I think Ayuk has some upside this week. I don't know how much. I think he's got some.
Upside for him is like 2 points. Like literally, that would be an upside for him on the season.
It's a tough call, man, but I do think that Herbert shows some good upside as well. I think that Booker is the must-start guy out of them. I'm willing to roll the dice on Herbert, but I don't like it. Like you're really rolling dice.
Yeah.
But you kind of have to roll the dice this week, right? So I don't know.
Do you think Booker's safer? Matchup's a little bit easier, obviously.
Yeah, I'm starting him, but I'm also potentially starting Herbert.
Yeah.
It's so bad this week, guys.
I think I'm choosing Booker, man, because this Panthers matchup is also really tough, but I just think there's a bigger chance here that he's their 3-down back. I'm not really seeing the competition for touches, whereas that's a different scenario in Chicago right now.
Yeah. Let us know if that's helpful at all, Bossman Fat, because it's so tough this week. Chase Brown, imagine having Josh Allen, Zeke, Keenan Allen, Deontay, like that's half the starting lineup. Yeah. Jeez. There's someone out there who probably has that exact lineup. C-Dog, I'm 4-2 in a 10-man league. Here's my lineup for the week. Kyler, Henry, Fournette, DK, Woods, Waller, Hollywood, or Myers, Saints defense, and Carlson for kicker. Chase, that's a badass team. C-Dog, I have Thielen on a bye and Hunt on IR. Before the year started, I traded James Robinson and Tanyan for Waller.
Oh my!
I think your lineup's fine. I think you could start Hollywood or Myers, but personally, I got more conviction in Hollywood versus the Bengals.
Yeah, I was just
lineup looks great though. Yeah,
team is sick, dude.
Zondo 1221 14 team PPR RBs are Saquon, Najee, Patterson, and wide receivers are Moore, Cup, AB, and Laviscus. I recently traded Devonta Smith for Javonte. Thoughts? I think that's a good trade.
I love this team in 14.
This is a great 14-man team. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I think it's a good trade as well. So I think you're in a good position, man. Spy Coffee 456 might be a dumb question, but should I trade D-Hop for Diggs?
That's tough. I actually say yes here.
I think I do too.
I'm so high on Diggs rest of the season, man. It's been like he's played really well all year, but it's like there's so much more there still, right? I feel like his breakout it's not here. And when he does break out, oh gosh, it's gonna be good. And another thing too, right? The bye week's done with. You don't have to deal with that anymore after this week, after this craziness. So I would make that move, man. I would love him.
I agree. And Diggs coming off his best game of the season as well.
Yeah.
I still love D-Hop, man. I mean, I want to put that out there too, but I do think it's a good trade.
Yeah.
And a fair trade on both sides.
Well, we were talking about what we were thinking, rest of the season rankings for receivers, and both of us put Diggs, I believe, at number 3 behind Adams and Hill, right? Cooper Kupp is obviously up there as well, but yeah, we're both super high on Stephon Diggs rest of the season.
Yeah, absolutely. Chase, let me in your league next season because you might be playing with some newbies. Spycock 456, he's 1-5 and he's willing to trade Diggs. Yeah.
Yeah.
Then I would
take advantage while they're weak.
There you go.
Yeah. Yeah, go for the soul.
Chase Brown, hope you win it all. There you go, man. C-Dog, I should be 6-0, but my losses are when Aaron Jones turned into Jesus Christ week 2, and I lost by 0.2 week 4. Yikes. I lost by...
Oh, yeah, tell him this is brutal.
The week Aaron Jones went crazy, I needed 0.5 more points out of him. Yeah. So that's interesting. Boston Fat, Colts defense or Browns defense this week? I think I'm leaning the Colts there.
Man, I don't know. I know I just kind of went away from that. Yeah, I would. I go Colts here. I go Colts.
Zondo 1221. Really like my team. Got Tyrod Fields and just stashed Deshaun in a 14 team. There's 0 QBs to pick up, currently 5-1. I think you're doing the right thing by just continuing to stash low-end quarterbacks, right? So I think that's fine. And yeah, I play in a 20-man league, so you don't have to tell me twice, man. I know plenty about slim pickings at the QB position. Absolutely, man.
When Tyrod comes back, man, he's nice.
Does he start over Davis Mills?
I mean, he should. I think
what we've seen in the past for the Tyrod.
I think he will. Yeah, I get it. The pass is kind of ridiculous, but I think he will. I think this Texans team loved Tyrod Taylor before he went down.
Yeah. Bo Picks, what do I do with Gibson?
My best advice: trade him.
Yeah,
trade him now. Like get off of him. Do not cut him. You can't afford to cut a guy like Gibson. I know somebody yesterday was talking about Gibson being on the waivers and should they pick him up? You got to pick up a guy like Gibson. Okay, so I see here for like who. So it's going to be tough, right? I would say this. I would definitely attack your opponents who are weak at running back, right? If you've got an opponent who is very running back needy, maybe only has like one running back on his team that's a true RB1 kind of guy, go after him. Take on one of his receivers, maybe. You might not get another running back for this deal. In fact, you're probably not going to get another running back for this deal. It just doesn't make sense unless you can dupe somebody. But I think where Gibson's at in terms of his injury and just the fact that they drafted Darrell Patterson, who is really good in college, and they have McKissick, who is already like out snapping Gibson before the injuries. Right. I just think that the move is to get off of him now while he has value and name value too.
Sure. And if you don't do that, then you just kind of hold on to him.
Right? Yeah, and sorry to keep going back to the. He also has CH, right? So two running backs that are in the same boat. Like I almost think you could do it with both these guys, but because I think with Darrell Williams, how well he played, like I don't know if there's a real reason why you'd keep CH. I think he's gonna lose a ton of touches. A lot of faith is probably gonna be lost in him when he does come back. And I get it, right? There's the inclination that like you drafted these guys high. You don't want to trade them. You probably drafted these guys 2 and 3 in your draft, right? So I understand you kind of holding that value. Like I can't get rid of both these guys, right? But dude, like it's way worse if you're just holding on to these guys that are terrible assets rest of the season, just for name value and just for where you took them. You can't let it tank your season.
Absolutely. Let's see here. Lost my spot. C-Dog, I was offered Cook and Najee for Henry. I consider it, but
yeah,
I would feel good about losing him.
Oh man, dude, I don't know.
Steven would do it. LVG, better rest of the season. Diggs, Ridley, Michael Thomas. Lost my spot. Or AJ Brown. Diggs,
Ridley, Brown, Thomas.
Agreed. Chase Brown, I previously won a matchup. I listened to point. Then 3 days later, they changed my win to loss. That's right. I remember that going on.
That is what's going on. Yeah, that's hype.
Chase Brown, Dalvin Cook, and Najee, and you have Madison. Let's see here.
Wow.
Gibson's my only RB. Okay, we went over that as well. Over G, Elijah Mitchell or McKissick. I'd lean McKissick, I think. As long as Gibson doesn't play, of course.
I lean McKissick.
Yeah. Udai, what's going on? Thoughts on trading Gibson and Patterson for Swift? That's tough.
Man. Yeah. I don't know.
I
I
think
would.
I think Patterson's giving you a higher ceiling than Swift. And I think
Mm.
down the stretch, Gibson could be valuable as well.
Yeah, the thing is with this, right? Because I was just got done recommending trade him. But here you're doing a package deal. I think it actually makes more sense to keep Gibson for the playoffs if he's healthy at that point, or do Gibson and somebody else, right? Don't get rid of Patterson. Don't get rid of another running back.
I agree. Let's see here. Well, picks I got Kyler, Jefferson, AJ Brown, Ridley, Gibson, CH Hawk, AJ Green, Patrick, Neal, that's a good team for a 14-man PPR.
You know what would make that team very elite on a weekly basis? Trading Gibson for a high-end wide receiver there.
Yeah.
I mean, if AJ Brown can come into place there, which I think he's going to start moving up, and then you got Jefferson and Ridley as well. I mean, man, that could be pretty dirty right there.
I agree. Final question for Steven for the night, since he does need to sign off. I'm going to stay around for just a couple extra minutes, but Zondo 1221. Kicker is Bucker. Should I swap him for Joseph or Boswell that are on waivers?
I believe Joseph's on bye, isn't he? Is he not on bye? Let me check that real quick.
I like Bucker this week versus Tennessee.
I love Bucker this week. Boswell, I would not go with here. But yeah, I think, definitely Bucker here. But hold on, I just want to clarify. I am pretty sure my man Joseph is on bye week this week, because Joseph's a badass dude. Joseph's on bye week this week. I would say if it wasn't bye week, I would definitely take him because he's really damn good. But Bucker for sure.
Bro, I wanted Matt Prater in our league so bad.
Yeah, you dropped Nick Folk.
I like who I got.
Hey, I like him too. I think he's had a really good matchup.
Yeah, it's a great matchup. So that's why I did that for. So I really wanted Prater though. What are you gonna do?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm gonna comment on one more deal here, right? For Bopucks. I want to see what you think about this. All right.
Okay.
Gibson and CEH in one package deal.
Mm-hmm.
For a good running back. He asked, who could I combo to trade for a good running back?
Yeah.
If you're a fantasy owner of a good team, right?
Yeah.
You're above 500, and somebody offers you 2 second to third round draft picks, are you taking that? Because you're already thinking you're going to the playoffs.
Yeah, I would.
I think that's what I would do.
I agree.
You can get off both these guys, in my opinion.
I 100% agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a great strategy. Absolutely.
It's going to be scary. It's going to hurt. It's going to be depressing, but I think you can do it.
I agree. Yeah.
But yeah, man, I got to jump, but love you guys. Love the Catch fam. This was fun tonight. I'm going to try to get in here again this week. This week's been pretty wild, but let me just also tell you guys, I'm going to be feasting on some wings tomorrow. I'm going to have a couple of hot boneless, maybe, with some ranch in there. Let John know if you like ranch or blue cheese more. I will say I'm definitely a ranch favorite here. But yes, guys.
I'm a ranch guy too. What are you talking about? I have been kind of exploring the blue cheese.
It's an interesting market.
My boss is on the blue cheese wave. So.
Really?
And he eats some hot wings. So
I will say blue cheese crumbles on a steak is not bad.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I enjoy that.
It's not bad at all.
Are you going to be on the Thursday Night Football Hangout stream?
I'm gonna try. I cannot promise you, but I am gonna try to be there.
I thought we owed Jerry a game of Madden.
I know Jerry's gonna be really upset if I can't make it. I know.
Wow. You might. Yeah. All right. Well, we will let Steven sign out of here. Steven, we will see you soon. Appreciate you coming through tonight, doing the must start quarterback segment, and we will talk to you soon, brother. Hope you have a fantastic night. I just threw an interception in Madden for you. So there you go.
I can see it in the background.
Isn't that kind of cool?
Yeah.
Kind of cool. It's face of the franchise.
Okay, hold on. I'll answer LeBron's brain before I jump real quick because he had said, wait, Hawkinson and CEH for Fournette. I have Goddard. Yeah, I like that deal. You get off CH, you get Fournette, who's been a badass. I'll let you speculate on that more, but I like that move, just first guts instinct, especially
Yeah,
because you have Goddard there.
I agree. I like that trade as well.
All right, gang. All right, Catch fam. Love you guys. Have a good night. Treat John well.
Goodbye, Steve.
Peace.
Peace. All right, let's see here. Bopex, so trade them for maybe like an Aaron Jones. The guy is 6-0. If you can make that happen, I think it's a great deal. Absolutely, yeah. Let's see here. LeBron's brain need RB depth because I have McCaffrey. I think it's a good trade, man, and I think it's a realistic trade as well. So I wouldn't feel scared to do that trade at all. It's a great trade. All right, I'm gonna get Madden up on the screen for you guys, so you guys have something somewhat interesting to watch. Messing around with face of the franchise right now. Oh gosh. All right, so this should only take 1 second, guys. Aaron Reborn, my bad, I didn't hear y'all. Did you say I should go for Jones, Elliott, or Cook for my Hopkins and Keenan Allen? Let's see here. I think Jones, I think all of those are good options, Aaron. Who are you feeling in terms of the best overall outlook? Because I think they're all great options. I'd be interested to see who you have the highest conviction in at the moment, or who you think are the most realistic outcomes for you. They're all fantastic options, though, Aaron. All right, let's see here. Show on stream. Ooh, trippy. Here we go. All right, let's see here. Chase, would you trade away CMC and Keenan Allen for Henry and Diggs? Yes. I would 100% do that. I want to keep CMC, but I'm interested to see what value you can get for him. I mean, I think that's an insane amount of value, man. I think that's a beautiful option. Spy Coffee 456. Matt Gay or Carlson for my season kicker. I honestly, I mean, the way that the Rams are putting up points right now, I like Matt Gay, man. I don't mind Carlson as well, but I think on the season, Matt Gay is going to be a top 5 kicker. No questions asked. So I would roll with Matt Gay. I've got him in my primary league right now. I mean, I dropped him for Nick Folk last week, and I regretted it. And yeah, I like him quite a bit. I think it's a great start. Mr. Grapefruit, trade CMC and Fant for Kelsey and 10-team standard. It's not on the table, but the Kelsey guy expressed interest in CMC. I think that's fine, but I would still try to get a second player out of it. You know, I mean, you're giving up Christian McCaffrey, right? And Fant's played quite well. So, I mean, Kelsey hasn't been incredibly consistent this season. So, I think it's okay if you want to make Kelsey your tight end 1. But I think down the stretch, losing CMC is really going to hurt. So, if you can get at least another running back out of that, you know, it's not going to be as high tier, but I do think that it's realistic. But listen, man, Fant hasn't played too bad, and you know, I've been warning you guys. If you do trade Christian McCaffrey, you just have to understand and be aware of what you're going to lose potentially down the stretch when he is healthy. Let's see here. Chase Brown, should I throw in Hubbard just so he's an option? I could throw in Deontay instead of Keenan Allen. Which one should I give up? Less targets on the Steelers. I'd keep Deontay, and I think it's okay to throw in Chuba as well. Yeah. But I mean, I think so. If you're trading away CMC, Chuba, and Keenan Allen for Henry and Diggs, it's a pretty fair trade. Mr. Grapefruit, I'll have Zeke, CH, Monty, Patterson, and possibly McKissick down the stretch without CMC. Don't hate that, but you'd be absolutely loaded if you did have CMC in that mix as well. Like, that would be terrifying to go up against on a weekly basis. So it's just tough losing CMC, right? But hamstring injuries can linger for some time. So it's hard to say at the same time. Christian, I just sent Aaron Jones and Gibson for Swift and Barkley. I like that trade. Yeah. Let's see here. So you're sending Aaron Jones and Gibson. You're receiving Swift and Barkley. Not the worst trade. I mean, at the moment, I think you get an upgrade, but down the stretch, you're losing Aaron Jones, but you're potentially gaining our guy, Barkley, right? So I don't hate that. All right, let's go. Let's see here. I got Fance and Schultz as Mr. Grapefruit. I think that's fine then. I don't know, man. I don't know if that's worth losing CMC. I'm not entirely sold on that trade. I mean, Kelsey's been good, but he's been a little bit inconsistent. And I mean, Fant and Schultz have been fine this season, right? So it's hard, man. It's a hard decision there. If you could get more value out of the trade, I wouldn't mind it as much. I mean, Travis Kelsey is Travis Kelsey, right? But I think if you can still at least get a receiver or running back out of that, I mean, you're giving up a lot in Christian McCaffrey. Don't get me wrong, your opponent's giving up a lot as well in Travis Kelsey, but it's just a tough call, man. It's really tough. Aaron Reed, where my first choice is Elliott, second is Jones, and third was Cook. I think that's fine. Just keep in mind when Cook's healthy, man, he's very healthy, right? He's incredible. But I have a lot of conviction in Ezekiel Elliott right now, so I don't mind that either, man. I really don't. I mean, I drafted Ezekiel Elliott in the Catch Fan League third overall ahead of CMC. So, yeah, I don't mind that at all. Chase, I doubt the Henry guy wants to give him up. A couple weeks ago, he's interested in CMC, wanted to stack Henry and CMC. No way I'm letting that happen. Yeah, don't let that happen. We had nightmare for entire fantasy league, right? So do not let that happen, man. All right, guys. Yeah, so playing a little bit of face of the franchise here. So that's why you guys see college teams up. Guys, make sure you're smashing that like button, man. And, we are really trying to grow the community as much as we can. So if you guys have friends, family that are, that play fantasy, maybe, other players in your league as well, do us a favor and send the channel around and just, see if you've got friends or acquaintances that might be interested, family that might be interested in the channel as well, because we're just trying to expand as much as we can. And so keep smashing that like button, guys. And if you guys know anyone who might have interest in the channel, do us a favor and send the Catch fam their way as well. Unless you are really scared about them doing better in your league. But either way, I understand. All right, let's see. Yeah, Chase, my league will hate me forever. That might happen. Yeah, it might. I'll let you know in the next couple of days when he responds. Yeah, please do, Chase. Definitely looking forward to seeing what happens there. Oh, gosh, that was an awful play. All right, guys, let me know what other questions you've got on the night as we're looking to wind down over the next 20 minutes or so. Bossman Fat, should I start Melvin Gordon at flex or should I pick up Ayuk or Tim Patrick? I like Tim Patrick out of those guys personally the best. But I think Ayuk might have some sneaky upside. We'll find out. I'm not entirely sure why I feel good about Ayuk this week, but he's just due for a good game. You know what I'm saying? And then Melvin Gordon, it's not a great matchup, but this Browns team is so banged up that I would be willing to take a chance there. So I know I just kind of gave you an option on all those guys. My highest conviction is hands down in Tim Patrick, right? Especially if Jerry Jeudy doesn't play. I've got Tim Patrick in two of my primary lineups right now. So I would lean Tim Patrick, but if we get the news that Jeudy plays, which I'm not sure if we're going to, I think they might rest him one more week coming off IR, right? I think I like Tim Patrick the most. Chase Brown says Tim Patrick has to be Tim. I don't mind that call either. That's who I feel the best about overall. All right, let's see if I can't do something in this face of the franchise. Oh, there we go. There's a sack. Yeah, this has got to be the worst fantasy week I think I've ever seen. Hands down. It's just god awful. God awful. I'm prepared mentally to lose all of my fantasy matchups this week. Every single one. Maybe I don't have enough faith, but some of these lineups I'm going up against, they have a lot of issues too. So we'll find out what happens, man. We will. I don't think this will be a fantasy week that we'll ever forget. That's for sure. Biocalypse at its max. Yeah, I mean, I'm having to start. I mean, Tim Patrick and Antonio Brown, I'm leaning on heavily. I'm having to start Corey Davis in 2 leagues, dropped Corey Davis in another league. I mean, it's a mess. It's an absolute must. I mean, the worst part of it for me is that, I'm usually very active on the waiver wire, and there's a lot of guys right now that I'd like to pick up, that I'd like to kind of stash, but I just don't have room for the added depth because it's such a mess out there. Things are so thin, right? That I just can't be messing around. It's awful this week. Absolutely awful. All right, let's see. At least wait for Ayuk. Yeah, I do think that Ayuk could bounce back on the season, but we kind of want. It's just hard. It's hard to tell, man. I dropped him in the catch fam league, and I for some reason I feel weird about it. I feel like he could start to turn up later in the season. Udai, thoughts on trading Gibson, Patterson, and Godwin for Kamara and Waddle? I think that's a pretty good trade. I mean, you're getting Alvin Kamara out of it. I think it's a pretty fair, trade off between Waddle and Godwin. And then I think, yeah, I mean, if you're going to have to give up 2 RBs to get Kamara, then I think Gibson and Patterson are 2 good running backs to do so. So, yeah, I would definitely consider that trade, Eli. Chase, I can't wait to drop all the guys I picked up for 1 week and try to get my guys back. Yeah, I am right there with you, man. It's going to be next week's waiver wire is going to be very scary. Very, very scary. Bossman Fat, I'm lucky I'm playing the worst guy in the league this week because otherwise I wouldn't have a chance. Yeah. Yeah, if you've got a good matchup this week, you are feeling pretty tasty, right? Oh, come on. We needed that catch in Madden, man. We're going to lose this game. This is bad. Oh, no. This is not my playbook. I don't know what to do. Oh, no. Oh, no. I meant to. Oh, no. Oh, my gosh. I can't believe he just got that. I didn't mean to snap the ball. KB, you guys confident starting Devonta this week? Somewhat confident. I want to be confident, but the Browns have been pretty good against opposing running backs, so I don't feel great there. I've been waiting for Devonta to kind of pop off on a weekly basis, right? And I don't know that it's going to be this week that we see that. I really want it to be. I mean, he's a guy that I went out and drafted in my primary league, and I'm still holding out faith, right? I don't know if I'm fully confident. I mean, if this injury for Melvin Gordon definitely helps, right? But we'll see what happens, man. I don't know if I'm fully confident, but I don't feel too bad about it overall. Oh, all right, so we actually might win this game of Face the Franchise. We want to decline that touchdown. All right. Yeah, let us know in the chat. Would anyone else out there be confident starting Javonte Williams? All right, guys, we're getting ready after this game of Madden. We're going to go ahead and sign off for the night. So if you guys have any last minute questions, please let me know before we do end the stream. Getting close to the end here. Make sure you guys smash that like button on your way in or your way out, either way. Yeah, just appreciate your guys' support. Appreciate everyone coming out for the stream tonight. Another good outing, as always. Always have a good time hanging out with you guys. And tomorrow we should have the Thursday night football hangout with some fantasy, just general fantasy Q&A. No segments tomorrow, so make sure you guys stay tuned in for tomorrow's stream as well. Might be a little bit later in the night towards the second half of the football game. And definitely a lot to break down in tomorrow's football game between the Browns and the Broncos as well in this awful week 7, right? So make sure you guys stay tuned. We'll have a good time tomorrow as always, man. Chase Brown, I'm not that confident. I don't feel great about it either. If you have to start him, do it. Yeah, I absolutely agree. I mean, the floor is probably like 8 points, so it could be a lot worse here in week 8, right? Wow, good scramble there. LeBron's brain. What do you think, T. Higgins for AJ Brown? That's an interesting trade, right? I mean, I think it's a good trade because as good as a quote unquote number one receiver T. Higgins is, he's competing with Jamar Chase, right? So I think I'd rather have AJ Brown. The way he's starting to, I mean, he always seems to improve at this point in the season, right? So yeah, I think that I'd lean AJ Brown there. Chase Brown says AJ Brown side wins. I don't necessarily disagree. Yeah, I love T. Higgins, man. I still think he's going to have plenty of good football games, but far less targets for AJ Brown overall, especially with Julio being a little bit banged up. So yeah, I think I'd lean AJ Brown there for sure as well. All right, let's see. This is actually a great win in Face the Franchise. All right, guys, so we'll go ahead and sign off for the night as this game of Madden is coming to a close. I do appreciate everyone coming out tonight. Like I said, we'll have the Thursday night football hangout tomorrow with some Week 7 fantasy Q&A. So make sure that you guys are tuned in to tomorrow. Guys, I appreciate the community so much. This community just continues to grow and grow, and it's absolutely amazing, man. Just can't express how grateful I am for the Catch fam, man. Like I said, continue guys to come out to the streams, and if you guys are willing, spread the channel around, man. Spread it around in your personal league. Spread it out to your friends and family. Help us expand as a community, man. Would love to see some new faces coming through as well in the coming days, guys. Make sure you hit that like button on the way out. Check out the Patreon page down below if you guys are ever interested, man, and make sure you stay tuned for tomorrow's stream. If you're ever worried about missing the streams, make sure you have that notification bell on as well so you do not miss a single video or a single stream. If you guys haven't seen any of the pre-recorded videos for the week, go check them out. Steven's got a couple great videos out for the week. I've got a couple out as well. Go watch those. Go hit the like button. Go support the Catch fam, man. Go support the channel. But nonetheless, appreciate you guys 100%, man. Appreciate the Catch fam. This community is beyond amazing. Tonight's stream was an absolute blast. I look forward to seeing everyone tomorrow night as well for the Thursday night football hangout. So with that, I got nothing else to say, but thank you guys so much for watching and or listening. And remember, saw it here on the Catch, and peace.